awesome live streaming service.
All right. Rob says hi. Hello. AB says hi, everyone. Julie is sewing from Houston, Texas, and she's ready to sew tonight.
Hello, everybody. We're happy to be live today. We're going to do things a little different today. We're going to try to have like Chantel and I be the main people on. We're not putting a Zoom link out today. And we have actually come up with some pre-planned topics that we think will be entertaining for you all. But we want to get back and forth with you guys through the chat section on YouTube. So we're
Yeah.
going to be asking you questions on each topic, and then we'll like interact with you that way through the chat. And it'll be more podcast style. So we're just going to give that a try for today and let us know how you like it. But
Yep.
first, something very important happened this week. Chantel got bangs.
I got bangs. I was
Yes.
having, so we've been talking about having the winter blues. So we've been trying to beat the winter blues. And I decided that cutting your bangs is never a good emotional choice when you're
Usually you've gone
feeling,
through something like serious if you're
yeah,
going to get
you have to
bangs.
go through something very serious to decide to have bangs, especially when you decide to have baby bangs. So,
Yeah, I asked if it was micro bangs, so not quite. So you're not
eh,
with Gen Z.
no, well, no. I mean, I'd like to
You're
think
still a
I'm on the
proud
border of
millennial.
that. I'm trying, yeah, I'm still a millennial,
Oh,
but
whatever. We're elder millennials.
I
I'm
know.
turning
I was
40 this
like,
month.
John, it's not a big deal. Like, we're still in our 30s, and he's like, you're not. And I said, no, we are. And he's like, but you're not. Based on your year you're born, your demographic has changed.
Yeah.
You're not in
I
your
thought it was
30s
so
anymore.
funny. Chantel and I are both members of the Young and Millennial Quilters on
Hmm.
Facebook. And there was someone on there who was like, I just want to learn from somebody who's in their 30s. And Chantel said, "Oh, Stephanie is." And she tagged me, and I was like, barely. I've got like 20 days to go.
You still, the question was currently in their 30s.
The
And
majority of the videos were filmed in my 30s.
that's just
So
what I was
there's that.
thinking.
Yeah. They could still learn from me when I was,
That's funny.
35.
I'm surprised she
That's
hasn't come
funny.
across you yet. Honestly,
Uh,
you're like all over
I don't
YouTube.
know. I am, but I haven't been doing as much lately. I was like all gun ho and I put out a ton of content. And then like Nutcracker happened and then the plague hit the house. And then it was 2 weeks of Christmas break. And then the kids finally went back to school Tuesday.
And
And
you're recovering.
now I'm like, oh yeah. All week I was going between like, should I be productive?
Hmm.
Or should I just sit here and enjoy the silence and snuggle with the dog? And it was back and forth between those two things
So you
all
tortured
day,
yourself.
pretty much. And I texted you at one point and I was like, I did nothing today because I felt like I needed it, but now I feel guilty. And you're like, I'm also taking a self-care day. Don't feel guilty.
Yeah, but then I cut my bangs. So clearly I had a lot of torture going on in my own heart with the kids being off of school. Thanks, Julie. She says she loves my hair. Oh, we
Yes.
got a lot of people here.
We got folks from Mexico, Susan in Mexico. We've got Twyla in Colorado. Julie's in Houston, Texas. So it's really exciting.
Mexico. That's awesome. Canada.
Ooh, we have a Canada.
We
Brenda.
have a Canada. We need a bingo card every
I'm going
week.
to Canada. I know, right? That could be
You
fun.
are going to Canada.
I am going to Canada. I
You're
have
going to
a passport
Canada
and
to go
everything.
back to the US.
Basically, yes.
You should probably talk about that.
I
This
should.
is a
So
big deal.
there's some new details with the cruise that I am teaching on. It is a Alaska quilting cruise, and I probably should just like send you the link. That would be smart if I would have pulled that up ahead of time. Um, but it is July 13th through the 20th. We are sailing out of Vancouver and returning to Vancouver, so you can get a nice round trip flight. You don't have to have different airports.
Nice.
But we're going from the inside passage for Alaska. So we're never that far from shore. So there's only like one day when we're in the icy strait point where we're technically in like the Gulf of Alaska. The rest of it is all the inside passage. So it should not be um too many waves at all. So if you're worried about being seasick, like this is not the one that's going to do it for you. Um, but it's going to be really fun. We're going to have 18 hours of class time with me. I'm the only instructor on there, so you get to hang out with me and my family. My kids are coming. But we got an excursion finalized
Thanks.
in this week, and I just pulled over the link. So if you guys are interested in learning more about the cruise, I'm sending a link in the chat now, to an interactive PDF. And if you fill it out, it doesn't, um,
You didn't just sign
obligate you
up.
to go. No, you didn't. Don't worry. You didn't just, sign your life away and your credit card and all that. Um, but it just lets Ray and John know that you are interested, and then you'll get a note from them with more information about pricing and everything. And then you'll get a note from me too, saying how excited I am that you could come with us. But a couple of the things that are specific for the cruise for us, because we're not the only ones on the cruise. Like there are people doing whatever they want on the cruise, but we are like an excursion on board basically. Like we rent out a conference room, you get beautiful ocean views while you sew. It's
Hmm.
really fun. And or in this case, Alaskan coastline views. And um and so it's a lot of fun to go on. But we have a special excursion in Juneau that is just going to be for our group of quilters. And if you like shopping and visiting
Who
quilt
doesn't?
shops when
What
you
quilter
go,
doesn't like shopping?
but are going to go with other quilters instead of your husband, who's going to be like, now how much is that? Like, we're just going to be encouraging you to get something to remember your trip. This is your souvenir. So, this one's really fun. In Juneau, Alaska, we have our own special excursion.
Mhm.
We're going to go to Glacier Gardens and the Alaska State Museum. So, we get to explore a little bit of the city plus have a quilt shop tour.
Nice. So you get
So it'll
off the
be like
boat
the
for a
best of
while.
both worlds. Yeah, exactly. And we spend like the whole day in Juneau, but this is so you still would have time to explore if you wanted to after this, because this tour is going to be about 4 to 5 hours. But we're going to go to the Alaska State Museum, which, staff permitting, will be able to have a private textile tour of the textiles they have in their exhibit. But that is going to be like determined when we're a little bit closer because they have to make sure they
Okay.
have the staff available for us. But there will be an art quilt on display when we're there by a local artist. And so we'll at least get to see one cool thing that is quilting related while we're there. But we also get to see, the diverse cultures that have inhabited the museum while we're there. So that'll be really kind of cool to see. And then when we go to Glacier Gardens, we get to go to a 580-foot elevation and look out at the spectacular views of the Mendenhall Valley and some mountain ranges and a channel. So it's going to be really cool, a great picture taking
Nice.
opportunity, and a great way to like see the scenery in addition to being able to go do cool things with quilting. And then we're going to have an hour and a half to hang out at Rain Tree Quilting. And this quilt shop is actually in walking distance of the boat. So if you wanted to stay there longer, you certainly could, or like come back after we have lunch. You could do that too. And I checked this out. It's a great shop. They have fabrics that are like truly Alaska, because if you're like me and you like to grab fabric from where you visit to remind you
Hmm.
of the location you were in, like you don't just want something that you can get back home. You want something that like truly feels like the place where you're at. And then we're going to have a salmon bake lunch with an all you can eat Alaskan feast. So it'll be regional
Nice.
fixing plus barbecue ribs, a lot of really fun stuff.
Jealous.
And wild caught and freshly grilled salmon. I am not a seafood eater. Like literally my first memory in life is of my grandfather gutting a fish while it was still alive. And that
It's
just
a
like
core
ruined
memory.
seafood for me. Yes. It just was flopping and then it wasn't. And that's like, I was maybe like 4 when this happened.
It
And
was
so, but
flopping and then it
I
wasn't.
might, I might have to try this. I think I'm gonna have to try it because like when in Rome, right? So I think that that'll be like really fun.
I think
But
it's going to be awesome. I've been trying to get John to agree to
to go,
going. Yeah. And the problem is that it's in July. He has his vacation through like already planned
a
through
June,
June.
yeah.
And then it was initially going to be in June. And then they moved it to July, but that's even better because the weather is better there in
It
July.
is. It is
Apparently,
the
it is
literal
like
best
the
month to go.
place to be.
Yeah. I do think we're going to need coats for some of it because there's one day where we're literally all we're doing, we're on the boat the whole day, but we're touring around the Hubbard Glacier. That's all we do is just see
Oh, wow.
glaciers and things like that. And so half of that day we're going to be in the classroom, and then the other half you get to spend with your family or friends you make on board and kind of see the sights on your own. I do think for that you probably are going to want some kind of jacket if you're going to go outdoors, but
Although they have shopping on board, you were
they
able to
do.
get plenty of scarves on our last trip.
I think I got four.
I have, I
They were
know.
only
They were
$10. I couldn't help
adorable.
myself.
I did worse. I had two handbags and a ring by the end of the
You did.
adventure.
You
Yes.
did. And really you needed like a handbag, if that, like
I
walking
did
around the
not
ship.
need, no. I should have gotten, although I really like what I got. Still
Oh
very
yeah.
excited about it.
If you want to do some shopping, they have like the cheap shop where you can get like a cheap souvenir or like you forgot
Your
something and you
bargain, your
need
mid,
something.
you
Yeah.
know,
Like I got like two or three hats and like a bag. I
eh,
got the cheap bag. Chantel got a name brand bag. I got a $10 bag. I got four $10 scarves, a couple $10 hats, an ornament because we give each other ornaments that were something that we do in the year. So I picked out a cruise ornament for my ornament of the year. And but then they have luxury shopping as well. So if
yeah,
that's you,
you
you
gotta
can
be
totally do that.
careful.
You
Avoid
can
that
even
area.
buy original artwork if you want when you're on the ship.
It's nice, but you can
It
also
is.
just avoid it too and go in there and they don't actually expect you to buy anything. They know
Yeah.
you're like on a ship and you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah. There was
But
this one bag that was like so me. The color was so me. And they kept seeing me come back to it. And they're like, "Do you want the bag?" I'm like, "Of course I want the bag, but I can't afford the bag." And they're like, "Oh, I bet you could." And then it
you're
was
like,
like a $5,000 bag. And I was like, "No."
we're here on a bargain.
Yes.
Okay? Like we can't we can't afford the
No.
bag.
We're not going to
Like
buy a $5,000 bag.
not today.
I would
Not
love to be
ever.
at a point in my life where I could buy the $5,000 bag.
If you
But
had
then I
$5,000, was that the bag you would get? You know what I mean? Like if you had 5,000 to drop on a bag, like for
it was
me,
like my perfect color though.
it really was.
And it was a good size.
It was a
But
good
I don't
size.
honestly I don't think I probably will ever be spending
I
$5,000 on
don't think
clothing.
so either. I
Like
go
that's a
on,
whole vacation for me. Like that is a vacation for the whole family to
that is
somewhere
a
really
vacation
cool.
for the whole family. I don't care who you are. Like
Yes,
that is a vacation. That's more than the cruise. So,
accurate. Very
yeah.
accurate. But you don't have to like the way that the cruise works, like you totally are not nickel and dime. Like the price you get quoted is
No,
the
not
price
at
it's going to
all.
be.
It
Yeah.
was easy breezy.
I mean,
It
if
was
you want to
a
do
great experience.
if you want to do an excursion, like um, obviously that costs money, but it really is not like you can do it on a budget for sure. Especially if you're like me and you keep visiting the $10 hat and $10 scarf area. Uh,
ABS, she's like, that's a great question to ask yourself. And I'm like, I know, it would be a Louis for me.
for sure.
Either that or a Gucci. I keep on seeing stuff on ThreadUp. Um,
Oh, I can't believe I never told you about ThreadUp.
I have sold stuff to them and it actually never went on there. I don't love their algorithm. It like doesn't automatically know what I like, but somehow I managed to get it to show me the things I like, and now we're in trouble.
Yep. So for those of you who don't know, ThredUp, it's a website and an app where you can sell your gently used items and then you can also buy gently used items. And I love it because I am at a size right now that I'm not super excited about, but I needed all new work clothes for it.
Mhm.
And obviously that can add up like a lot when you're buying work clothes. And I found the limited, which doesn't even like exist anymore in the way that it
Yeah.
used to. And but I knew my size, what I needed to get. So I'm like getting limited stuff from like 5 years ago that I still like. And it'll just show me what my size is. And like you can get a blazer, a work blazer, easy. for like 30, 40, $50 as
Ooh, yeah,
opposed
depending
to
on the brand,
120 minimum. Yeah. And you can
it's
set up
pretty
safe
wonderful.
searches. We're not sponsored at all by ThredUp. We would love to
No,
be
where it's
because
just wardrobes, not tonight, clearly, by
no,
ThredUp.
clearly not.
But that's what our week consisted of. I was like, "Oh my God, have you done this?" And she's like, "Oh my God, how did I not tell you about this?" Like,
That's where my Toomey bag came from.
oh, really?
I got a Toomey briefcase, which is a really high-end bag.
Love my
Um,
Tumis.
and I love it because like I bought it used and I've had it for 4 years. I use it almost every day and it's still in really good shape. These things retail for like $400 or $500. I got mine for 100. And
Done.
girl math, I've
And
used
it
that for
doesn't,
four
yeah.
years. That's like a less
It
than a
went
cup of
across the world
coffee.
with you.
It did. It definitely did.
Yeah, it is it is girl math. It's
Girl math.
shopping math.
Oh goodness.
Like if I
I love
wear
putting
this
together
many times,
outfits on there on ThredUp. Like, oh, I can wear all this together. And it's really
I
easy to
spoiled
send back
myself this
too.
week.
It's really easy to send back too if you get something that doesn't fit right.
I it all started with a pair of shoes. Doesn't it
Yeah.
always start with a pair of shoes? And
For me, it's handbags. Like
ooh,
I can't fit t-shirts in my closet anymore because my handbag collection has gotten too
you do have
large.
a great handbag collection.
I do. It
What's
is a
that one
really good
brand
one.
that you have that is um they're like the mid-century
Oh goodness.
the I
I
can't
know
even
what you're
think of
talking
how to
about.
explain it.
I have a save search on my eBay, so let me find it. We're getting really off topic.
We always get really off topic. That's what we do.
Oh goodness. Where are my save search?
All
My
of this to
eBay.
say, I guess, that we are both thinking
Enid
about
Collins,
Eden.
which is really fun. Okay, so here's one. This is not one of the cooler ones. Um, but they have wooden bottoms. They were like the original DIY bag. So you would buy kits for these and you would have to assemble it and put on all like the sequins and the jewels and stuff. And so not one, I mean, they were kits. So like, the kits were sold, but not one is going to be the same because it would be like if you bought a quilt kit from me, my quilt that I make with it is going to be different than Chantel's quilt that she makes with it. And
Like where
so
your
I just
cuts
love
are
them.
and stuff are going to be different. And
I have like four. Oh my God, Chantel, you need this
what
one.
happened?
It's expensive. Some of
Oh,
them are
and it
really
has
expensive.
owls.
I know.
We are a
I have
sucker for owls.
I have three different owl ones of hers. Three.
Ugh.
It's
So we know
bad.
what you would buy if you had $5,000 for a handbag.
I mean,
A
not
whole
really.
collection of those.
Look at this one. This one's fun. This one's wooden.
Wooden.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So I pull them out like very sparingly. Like when I have like an event to go to, like if I'm taking my daughter to like the ballet, I'm gonna pull out my Enid Collins
Yeah, math.
because they're
Girl
like
math.
well, but they're from the 60s. They're old.
I
I don't
know.
want
Well,
to
that's the
use it as
thing. It's
much.
like you need to make them last. So if they're going to be good
Yeah.
quality vintage items, you can't use them that much.
I have found some great vintage bags at the Bettendorf Goodwill.
Oh,
So
I love the Goodwill. I am a
I
sucker for a Goodwill.
I don't know about you guys. So I live in the Quad Cities, which is actually five cities because we can't do math, that go together. And Bettendorf is the affluent one. And so I have gotten myself in trouble a time or two going there on like a Saturday while I'm waiting for my daughter to like get done with coding. And
Yep,
you
me
know,
too.
there's this
I
vintage
remember
bag.
that one.
Yeah, there's this vintage bag that's really cool that, probably somebody passed away and everyone's just getting rid of their stuff. I like got like three or four vintage bags in one. I got a whole plate set for like $1 a plate that
That
retails
was
way
really good.
higher that are like perfect for my kitchen.
All this to
So,
say, we've been
yeah,
talking about getting rid of things.
we have we did talk about this. We talked about like getting rid of things that I suppose no longer serve a purpose and that we don't like love anymore.
As a creative person, it's so hard because I can think of a purpose for everything if I need to.
But like
That doesn't mean it's going to have its purpose. And that's what I'm struggling with is like what is convenient to have and what is having it really that convenient when I'm struggling with space.
Yeah. So one of the other things we were talking about was like our goals and like my huge one, like I got to get my sewing space cleaned up. It like turned into a disaster when I was working on the book because I like to work on one project at a time because it doesn't make that much mess, right? And
That's her
now it's
secret to
just
success.
it is, and I did not follow it when I was working on that book, so I just have crap everywhere, and it's it's bad. It's really
It
bad.
looks beautiful behind you.
Well, yes,
Isn't
and
that wonderful?
then you look anywhere else, and it's just that
Bum, bum,
I
bum.
cannot walk in front of my desk. It's bad. It's really bad.
I mean,
So I
my
know I
desk's
need,
a little messy behind me, but there are areas of this room
yeah,
that are like me crawling over items to get where I need to get. It's
yeah.
bad.
And I don't know about you. Can do you have a hard time functioning when like you look everywhere and it's a to-do
Yeah,
list?
I shut down,
Yeah, I can't do it. Like I
but I
cannot
shut
do
down
it.
and I don't fix it. I just
Yeah.
shut down and then I leave it and then I have to wait for like the great moment where I'm like, I'm going to tackle this thing. I feel good. And that is not always a moment to wait for. That's a really hard thing to wait for because
Yeah.
motivation doesn't just happen.
Come always.
No,
Yeah. So that's
especially
like
when it's
my
dealing
big
with a
thing.
mess.
That's my big thing is I need to by the end of January have this place functional where
Not
I can
perfect, just
like where
functioning.
things are back the place where they belong, and if I don't love it, it needs to go somewhere else. There's a store. I just burped. I apologize. There,
I was burping earlier due to like,
I don't know about you guys. There's a store by me called Pound and Inch where they buy the fabric by the pound and sell it back to you by the inch. And
what?
there's like a limit to how much you can like bring in any one day. But I just need to let go of some of my stash. Like, am I ever going to use my huge boutique stash? Maybe not. You know,
I need to
I
let go of
loved him.
stash too.
I loved him at a time and not really so much anymore. Um,
I have fabric that I have set up to be donated to Project Linus so that people can make quilts for children in the hospital.
that would be great. My guild
So
has
what
a
they're
charity
asking
one, so
for,
that would
if
be
you
good
can,
too.
yeah, if you can find a Project Linus in your area, and this is for anybody, they're always looking for boy prints or more sophisticated, blue tones and things like that, because it's not just little kids. Like sometimes it's older children that are looking for something a little more pulled together, and they get all of this girly stuff apparently, and they don't get a lot of the more like
Boy
like,
things.
yeah, the boy things. But I figured I can't feel guilty about people making quilts out of my fabric and donating it to Project Linus because if I had the time, I would be doing that. But I have my own kids upstairs that are
Take
still
up
upstairs.
every second of your day.
They do. They're great. They're just exhausting and they take up
I
every
feel
minute.
you.
What are you
I
working on? So
understand.
you're folding up stuff right now.
I'm
You're getting your
folding.
stash in order.
So well, I cleared out my Halloween stash
Hmm.
earlier in the year. I donated it all to Chantel and Gwendolyn to their coffin quilt
Somebody with another
Hexing
fabric
adventure
problem.
because I bought it years ago and my style and taste have changed and I didn't want to see it anymore. So I'm like, here you go, have fun, put it in your
We're
exchange.
gonna make coffins out of it.
And then I bought
Or
a ridiculous amount of Halloween fabric this year because I decided I too wanted to make coffin hexes. And this is not the bins that I store my fat quarters in. I store them in clear
pretty
bins
clear
that I
ones.
get at Target, and then they all stack up really nice. But they have to be folded a specific way to make it in, and this is not it. So
I
I
have
think,
bins kind of like that too, that are
yeah,
like my preemptive. Like before you get into the clear bin, you have to be folded appropriately.
yeah,
That's something you have to think about. Like before you get into a system of organizing your fabric, what time allowance are you giving yourself to be able to like do it? Because like I sit there and I fold my fat quarters like all perfect and things like that so that they can go in these, but that takes a lot of time.
So I actually started this organization process um right before we ended up having to downsize and bring everything into the house. I'm really glad that I did it before we knew that we needed to do it.
You have a
And it
video about it, don't you?
it took me, I have a couple videos about it, but it took me a whole month to get it from just piled in a giant closet that we had at the
Hmm.
shop to fitting neatly on organization boards. And that was putting yardage on boards and also taking the time to fold all of my fat quarters so that they would fit. But that's my goal, I think, for January is to really go through everything and like get it, at a point where I know I want to use this someday and I do, it's worth me keeping it and or find a good home for it where
Yeah.
somebody's gonna like it.
That's
It
what
might
I'm
not
looking
be
for is
me.
more homes.
Yeah,
I need to rehome some fabric. I do have a friend that I met at QuiltCon last year, and she teaches classes down in Ecuador for quilting, and they can't get the quilt quality fabric easily. So I donated a whole bunch to her last year, and then this year I'll do the same. So I'm trying to find homes for the extra fabric because I'm done. We have a lot of comments.
we do. Let's see. AB says when she started speed death cleaning
Swedish
and
stuff cleaning, that's what that is.
Swedish. Okay. I've and
I
Marie
read that
Kondo
book.
cleaning. I did Marie Kondo and I got
I've
rid
read
of
them
some
all.
stuff that I
I
wish I
love
had
a
not.
I love a good nonfiction organizing book. Not that I follow any of them, but
It's good advice. It's like when it's parenting advice, you listen to it all and then you do what works for you.
yeah,
I feel like.
basically. The Swedish
Yeah.
stuff cleaning one really sat well with me.
But it took her 3 years of doing a January declutter from Just Get It Done
Oh
quilts.
yeah, I've seen that video too.
Yeah.
That yeah.
I actually have a video on how I fold my fat quarters. I have two videos on how I fold my fat quarters because I used to do it one way for the Target baskets, the Y weaves. And then when I found the stackables, I had to change the way I folded in order to make it fit in there. But Becky B keeps a Goodwill bag on her porch and in the shed. So when she comes across something, she puts in the bag. We do that. We brought a lot to Goodwill.
I have a
Letitia
Goodwill
loves your
method I
hair.
love. Oh, thank
What's your
you.
method?
Oh, Dana K. White is my favorite, Jan. I love her. Have you listened to her audiobooks? Because she's got a great voice for talking about cleaning and things because you can tell that she like struggled. She's from A Slob Comes Clean. That's her. Yeah, and
That
she's
sounds funny.
hilarious. She was a previously like a theater person that ended up starting a blog about getting her life in order, and her book is so good. I have a Goodwill method that I am very proud of figuring out. So when we lived in Chicago about 10 or 12 years ago, we had to use these blue bags for our recycling. And so they would go down the same garbage chute as everything else, but the blue bags were the recycling bags. Well, when we left Chicago, I still had all these blue bags. So I started using blue bags as my Goodwill bags in the house. And I never stopped doing that. So there's always a blue bag in multiple spaces so that I can basically fill it up as I'm going wherever. And then when they're full, my husband knows those aren't garbage bags, those are Goodwill bags. And he
Yeah.
just loads them into the car and takes them. So we don't have to have the conversation like, hey, where did that bag go or that bin or whatever.
It's wonderful that your husband intuitively brings the shit to Goodwill.
It's
Mine would
wonderful.
not.
I wouldn't either.
Mine
Jen's
would sit there for a really long time.
Jan's right. Dana K. White is so easy to follow, and I agree. I'm gonna have to share that audiobook with you. I
You
have her
will.
book books too because she's like, just do your dishes. Like get your dishes done. That's step one. Like I struggle with the basic stuff. She's like, I didn't realize there was stuff on my floor until my broom hits it. She also has
That
a whole
should be my
chapter.
other goal. My other
Yeah.
goal should be getting my robot vacuum functional again. That would make my life
Yes.
so much easier.
Oh my gosh, you never know how much you have on your floor until you go to start your robot vacuum, and all of a
It's
sudden
so
it's like,
gross.
wing, 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 hello, I'm here, all this stuff.
Well, and like so my husband usually sweeps the kitchen, but like it's like the lip under the counter doesn't exist.
No, it does not
Like it
exist.
just doesn't. So it just collects all the little food
Ew.
crumbs and the dog hair. And the robot
And the
vacuum will
dog
get
hair.
that.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
apparently we just made Letitia laugh out loud.
Yeah. Husbands, they're a special type of breed.
They are a special type of breed.
They're
Mine would
a
not do
personal
that.
favorite of mine, but still, they
We
are a thing.
changed we changed who's doing what jobs around the house at our household recently. And because we got a new washer and dryer because our dryer had a fire, so we had to do it.
I don't know if you
And
shared that story.
oh my gosh, I think I did. But so like our dryer just went kaput and we had the repair guy out and he comes down and he's like, "Ma'am, can you come down here?" And I'm like, "Okay, no problem." And he goes, you had a fire." And I'm like, "A fire? What are you talking about?" And like we all were home. The fire was contained to the machine and never and like put itself out. Like there was no damage. We were very, very fortunate. But we ended up having to get a new washer dryer right before Christmas. And my husband had been doing the laundry for a really long time, but literally like every 3 months, either me or his mom would come out and like do all the laundry and like bail him out because his method of doing the laundry is getting out the stuff that he thinks he needs and the kids need
He
and
cherry
washing
picks.
it. And then I never have any clean clothes or underpants. And I think that the underpants is a secret like campaign so that I will just not have underpants because, what husband wants their wife to wear underpants. And,
Those
but
ones go to
anyway,
the bottom automatically.
they do. They just don't get washed. And so, it wasn't working. And so I'm now doing the laundry and he's now doing the dishes. And so we've had a couple of conversations about dishes and that like they need to be done each night because I need to have
And
a
they
clear
can't be
counter to cook
gross.
with. Yeah.
Ugh.
Like there was one point where he had like set a dog bowl on the countertop and it had like transferred like some dog hair to it and it somehow like it got sticky. It must have been in like a pool of water. It was really gross. And I was like, Adam, you can't leave stuff like this. That's really nasty. Like like
I'm the
he's a
dishes person that doesn't see
45
the
year
things.
old man. He's a 45-year-old man. And I
I
had to have a
I relate to
conversation
him
with him
though,
about this.
because I'm the person that doesn't see the pile. Like
Yeah.
and so Dana in that A Slop Comes Clean, she talks about
Yeah.
that. Like there's just not she just has like slob vision. Like she
Yeah.
can't see like what is sitting right in front of her until it literally bops her in the face.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where we're at. So like I've been keeping up with the laundry. We've never had like more than 2 loads of laundry since I've been doing it. But then somehow he didn't like have underwear one day.
Oh
And
no.
and he's like, I hate the way you do laundry. And I'm like, well, I hate the way you do laundry. At least most of it's clean right now. Letitia says, don't you think sometimes they do this stuff on purpose? Like they want you to get annoyed and just do it yourself. I don't know that that's it. My husband has
Do it.
ADHD. And so he
I'm not gonna
like,
lie.
I think he totally like is well-meaning, but just
It
completely
just
forgets
goes
that
over his
like it's a
head.
thing that you should do. Or it's like you can't give him a list of like 3 things or 4 things. It has to be like 1 or 2 things. Otherwise, three
First
and
this,
four are going
then
to be
that.
forgotten. Yeah. Like I always see myself as a person who like I can be told step A and step D, and I just intuitively know that B and C need to happen to get to D.
Tell
He
me what
needs
that's
every single
like.
step. He needs every single step. Is that you too?
I need the steps. Well, it's not that I need the steps. It's that you didn't specify what steps are supposed to be B and C. And so I found some alternate, side
Way to get
quest.
there. Yeah. Side
Because
quest.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden when I was putting something in that drawer was really messy. There were crumbs in it. So I pulled everything out of the drawer in the middle of the dishes. And in wiping
Yes.
out the drawer,
And
you
now your
know,
drawer is really clean,
yeah,
but
but
there's still
nothing
dog
else
hair on your
got
counter.
done. Yeah.
And now it's dried on in a puddle of God knows what. And
Yeah.
yes,
But that drawer looks great.
I bet it does.
It
I
looks
bet it
so
looks
good.
really fantastic. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. I need to get something to work on tonight. I was going to work on
You
this
do.
quilt that I have down here, but I'm going to be bending over like the whole time to pick it up off the floor. So I'm coming up with a way to have a portable quilt wall. I'm trying to come up with a way to have a
They
portable
make
quilt
those,
wall.
you know.
I know, I don't want to spend that much.
I think Cape does one that's reasonable.
I want to spend like $40. So I have this
Yeah,
idea of
you're not
using a
going to be able to do
photo
that.
backdrop and pinning up batting to it.
If you would have told me that a week ago, I could have given you a photo stand. But we cleared out the storage unit. So
Ah,
it is now at the Rock Island Goodwill, if
well,
it's still there.
if it's still there, that's too
But
bad. Womp womp.
womp womp. Oh well.
It's all good.
So what are you
So
guys doing to clear out? Are you clearing out stash? Are you clearing out like just stuff from your life?
it's a January thing. I feel like
It
ever
is
it's like
totally a
it's not
January thing.
spring cleaning. It's like you declutter and then you do your spring cleaning.
I feel like it's just really easy to do, like when you put your Christmas decorations away. Not that I've done that yet. Yeah. My husband said we should go for a record and leave the tree up to like April. But
Nah, I kept ours up till May one year because my husband put the box so high in the loft that I couldn't get to it. And then he held it hostage from me.
didn't he want like his living room back?
Well, it was a small tree back then.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, it
It
was it
it
was
was
back in
not
the olden
the
days.
giant candy tree.
No, it's not like now where you have this in giant piano sized like tree.
It is a rather large one.
Yeah. I keep on making excuses for not taking it down, but they're
I
starting to
feel like
become
I
not
have a good
valid.
one. We we've had a storage unit for a while. At first we thought we'd move and then that obviously didn't happen. And
I'm just moving pieces around down here. I swear I'm still
well,
here.
and then the
Nice
shop
work.
closed. So we had three storage units, which is three too many to have for a long time. And so we got one cleared out, no problem. And then we made it a goal to clear out the other two before like the renewal happened on the 6th or the 7th, whatever, sometime last week. So like we've just been busting our butts to get everything out of there and decide what we're going to keep and what not. And we now we have to go through like all the crap in the garage that still needs homes, and it's like a never-ending cycle, and it's so annoying. Like I just want it to be done. I just want to like enjoy my things and not have stuff everywhere.
That's
But
my dream, but at the same time, how do I get over the constantly finding pretend
new things,
uses? Yeah, well, that too. But pretend uses for the things that I have. It's like I already have it, so it's convenient to have it. But that's really, I think, what I actually have a note in my phone that was something like that. Like, am I keeping this because it's convenient? Would I buy it again had I not had an immediate purpose for it?
I
I
saw
don't know.
one where it was like, could I easily replace this? Like,
Yes.
and would it be
Cost
something
under
that
$20 or something like that.
exactly, is it something that it would be financially challenging to do? But
Well, that means I don't have to get rid of my handbags, right?
yeah, I'm not getting rid of any of those. That's not on the.
Right? And the shoes.
I know. Oh man, my shoes don't even fit in the closet anymore. They've like spilled out. And I feel like
Didn't you just clean your closet?
I did, but there's not enough room for the shoes. So I either need a different shoe storage system, like I need different like shelving unit for the shoes, or I need to um I don't know,
I don't know. I don't know
have a
either.
bigger house, which isn't going to happen for several
I have
years.
a big house, and you know what?
I saw
It
your
it
bedroom.
didn't make it better.
I saw your bedroom. It made me
Oh, my
feel
bedroom is like
it made me feel honestly like normal when I saw your bedroom. I was like, okay, well, it's not just me.
you see the tree and it looks so good and pulled together. Like I got my living room looking good, and then you go to the bedroom and you're like, Oh, she's human. She's normal.
Yes. What
That's
about you
where the
guys?
laundry baskets of clean clothes live.
Do you have any like decluttering stash goals for this year or January in specifically? I would love to
Do
know.
me or do they? Oh,
Today,
good. AB's
everybody on
getting
the
the,
chat,
yeah, we want to know what your de-stash are and what you do with your, if you're getting rid of stash, how are you getting rid of it? Where are you getting rid of it?
like, are you just making quilts from your stash? Are you donating it? Are you destashing and selling stuff on like Etsy or something? What are you doing? Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
I'm the friend.
I'm the friend too.
I'm the friend. Oh, goodness. This is not going to be a big enough bin. I've only gotten the stuff on the top and I'm
Oh,
already
but it looks
almost.
so pretty.
It
Just
does look
hold that
really
there
pretty.
for a
It's
while.
just, I just want to pet it now. It looks really
Yeah,
pretty.
that's what you're supposed to do.
I know. Kind of
Petting your
struggling
fabric's not a sin.
just a little bit because I have a couple of these where I bought extra. Like this is a half yard. I have no problem folding a half yard to fit in here. And even a yard will fit, but it looks weird.
It does look weird. I agree with that. Okay, that's really cute.
But I'm also wondering if I should put them on boards. I did bring boards over, but I'm worried I'm
So
going to
we
forget
both use
about it.
comic book boards,
Yes, for our
which I highly
yardage.
suggest.
I mean, a half yard will go on it, but it looks kind of stupid.
I'll put the half
A
yards
yard or
on it.
better. A yard or better looks real good.
Yeah, a yard or better does look good.
Maybe I will put the half yards on it because then I will have a more substantial section in my stash on the shelves, and I will be less likely to forget about this stuff when I finally get around to cutting it open.
Will you confuse yourself by suddenly have a half yard on there and you go to like use it
I don't
and
think so because I got this all specifically to fussy cut for those coffins.
that's fair. Well, then maybe you want to keep it all together.
Maybe I do. Janet says hello from Western Australia and
Oh,
wonders what we're
nice. It's
working
an
on.
afternoon.
She's in the future.
Summer. She's
It's
in the
Saturday
future.
afternoon for her.
We're in the past. Old
We
news.
are. Let's see. Jan says she has the audiobook is good when decluttering. Regular
I
books are actually
agree.
good for reading. I have gotten into actually reading books more again. I'm feeling good about it. It's a better disassociation technique than scrolling reels for hours on end, I think. This is really what I'm telling myself.
What I'm telling myself.
Debbie says she's cleaning out her stash storage room and donated it to the thrift store. One thing she donated was a lot of project kits and notions that came in subscription boxes. She had too many. Um,
Yeah, the notions that come in subscription boxes or just the extra little stuff.
like I am not a notions collector. Like
You're not.
I have my things that I like. It's same with rulers. Like if I can't use it on more than one project, I don't want it. Like
That
that's
you
just how
draw
I
a
am.
good line there. The
I
rest of
for a
us,
long time, all I had was my 6 by 24 inch ruler and a 12.5 inch square ruler. That was it for a really, really long time. And that was all I needed. And eventually a 6.5 inch square ruler I think is really nice to add to that. And obviously, I like my equilateral triangle ruler because I have a lot of patterns that use it. And then the only other one that's like a specialty ruler that I have that I'll pull out occasionally is the Marty Michelle log cabin ruler for 1 and 2 inch strips because I find that one to be really
hmm,
helpful when you're cutting a bunch of log cabin strips because
how
you
does
don't
that
have
one
to
work?
like. So let me see if I can find it. If it is where it belongs,
If it is where it belongs, that is the key to
that is
all
the
of
key
it.
to life, right?
I know.
The
If
problem
it's
is
where
my
I put it,
My ruler drawer is also my free motion quilting stuff drawer. So sometimes it's there, but I still can't find it because it's buried under other stuff. I cannot locate it
oh well, that's okay. You can show
quickly
us
anyway.
another day.
But it's really a cool tool because It doesn't have a bunch of other stuff on it. It just has like one, two, three, four, five. So you know like what size strip you need to make. And it'll be like your finished size on it. And it just is
Nice.
really like, I don't know. I think it's easier, it's less overwhelming than looking at like a regular ruler because you just don't have all the other marks on it.
That that seems fair.
And that I like that for me.
Less likely to cut it incorrectly on live.
I won't cut anything on live anymore. I've messed that up too many
Probably the
times.
best decision you could make.
Yes. Let's see. Let's see. Debbie says she uses 3 colors thread and that is it. So don't send me 100 different colors a year. See, I
Don't look
have
behind
gotten
me.
into colors only for quilting the quilt and then English paper piecing. It's nice to have a
Oh, I
selection for.
love thread.
But let's see.
Although
Becky
I don't
B
use
says,
them in my machine that much, actually.
yeah, when I'm piecing, I'm always using white.
Yep.
I do not get fancy there.
Or black.
Unless it's clothes. Clothes are different, then you need different colors. Um, let's see. Becky B says her philosophy on pretty fabrics is mine I do not share. If I fall in love with something to go straight to Goodwill. She never parts with her rulers. Um, and Jan is wondering if I fold into 3 sections before putting it into the container. I will show you in just a second when I get back to that. Right now, I am currently folding the yardage, which is going on
Well,
comic
and
book
it'll
boards.
depend on your bin too, like what you
It
have,
will.
because like I use a different system. I use different clear
You have a different
bins.
bin, yeah.
Um, and
So
it,
you can't get your bins anymore, Chantel. So do you
well,
limit
some
what
of
you
my
get?
bins I can't get anymore, yeah.
So
But
do
it
you
also
limit
limits how much I can get. So I have a
exactly?
limit on the number of containers that I can have, and if they're all full, then it's, you know, got to do something about it.
That's how I feel about my project bins because I have one entire shelf. You can see it over here filled with project bins. It's you can kind of see it behind the light. All
Yeah,
those scrapbooking
it's the
containers.
scrapbook bins.
They're either projects that are in progress or I just want to keep all the stuff together for someday when I get to it. And like I have room for maybe 2 more bins in there, and that's it. And like that keeps me from doing more because then I can't get myself into too much trouble. I mean,
And
I
you're
can.
very good at limiting your projects already. I've been
Well,
working through my
yeah,
whips. My long arm's still not working. So I might actually send some stuff off this year. I've kind of decided if it's going to get done, I might have to send it off to be quilted or just be happy with, you know, my domestic machine quilting.
you should get. I'll call Tim this week for you. He'll answer my call and be like, "Hey,
I mean,
you have
there
to
are
call
some of
Chantel
them that
back."
would be fine. Yeah, I would like a quilter.
I'm sure you would.
That would be preferable. I'd like to just have a fixed machine.
I
That
understand.
would be better.
Apparently, I'm supposed to hear from APQS next week about potentially doing some stuff together. So if I end up with Quilt Path, we
Ooh,
can we can play on my machine.
that sounds like fun. I mean, I technically have a quilt motion for mine, which is essentially the same thing. So it would be awesome to come figure it out. I
Stephanie
just,
Brennan says she loves your haircut.
thank you. It's Steph 2.0.
I don't think I could ever do short. I think I would feel ridiculous all the time. My jaw is so
See,
square.
that okay. I mean, that's a reason. I don't know if it's a fair reason, but I kind of like being short. I can be a little more funky that way.
I so this is my issue with straight hair is when I have it or short hair, I have to
Mm.
do my hair every day. And otherwise,
What? God
I don't have to
forbid.
do my hair every day. I can just like roll out of bed and we're good to go.
I didn't do my hair today, and it worked out.
I would look ridiculous if I did not.
That's fair. What have I
One
done?
time, it was after a breakup. I cut my hair very short, and my sister, who always struggled with her hair, and mine was always just look decent. And she looked at
So
me the
sad.
next morning and my hair was like a mess. Like I couldn't even get it all in a ponytail. And she's like, my hair actually looks better than yours. And I just looked at her and like gave her the stink eye. But
It's like bad timing, sis.
very, very funny. Stephanie asked, or Suzanne Taylor asked how my daughter liked her sweater. She loves it. She wore it twice to school this week.
Nice. You should
Um,
show it.
I will show it. I would not use this yarn again, which sucks because I have a lot of it. Um, and it probably is just velour yarn in general is the thing. But this is the finish. This is my first finish of 2025. And she was really funny. She was like, she came in, she's like, Mom, I'm sorry, I have a loose thread here. And I'm like, honey, you have the sweater on inside out. But
Oh.
this is this is why I would not use this again. There's like random pulls in the yarn. So like this is a
Oh.
neckline and this is a giant pull that I have to go through and like work in now. And they're all over. It's whenever you have to switch from like a purl to a knit stitch, for whatever
Oh.
reason, it just has problems with that. So like all of your finishing areas, like your necklines, there the neckline had a bunch of changes, any ribbing, and it just it's all over. So every time she wears this now, in order to keep it looking nice, I have to go through and like make adjustments to that. It's a giant pain in the butt.
That
So,
is awful.
and with the time, I mean, it was a cheap yarn. I knew it was a cheap yarn, but I think probably all velour probably does this, just because it's a little slick. It doesn't like want to stick to each other the
And
way
it's
like
slippery.
a wool would. Um, and so I think that's why it does it. But I would not, if you come across the Juicy Couture yarn, it's super soft. She loves it for that. But like, you put too much time and effort into it to have to like mend it every single time you wear it. Like, that's not cool.
Oh,
So,
that
but I,
is
I
annoying.
have,
And because
I
you
have
made it,
hordes of
you're gonna
it.
mend it.
I have hordes of it over here. And I'm like,
Oh no.
now I have to do something with this. And I don't know what. But
Make pom-poms. That's what
it'll
I
be
did with the yarn.
a ridiculous amount of pom-poms.
I made a
So many
ridiculous amount of
pom-poms.
pom-poms and made it
I
into a
don't
wreath.
think you fully understand how many pom-poms
Maybe I don't.
we will be dealing with here. But oh goodness,
Thank you, everyone. Everybody's very, very kind about my hair today.
it is.
It was a bit of a change. I mean, I was already shorter, but I lost so much hair after having shingles that I basically had to chop my hair off a few
In order
months
to get the
ago.
thickness back. Did
Yeah.
you get it highlighted too?
Hmm.
You got all fancy, Chantel.
I did. I did. And then, yeah, I'm just glad that the bangs thing didn't turn into a bad rage thing. Like, like, you know, emotional moment making bangs is at least I didn't cut them myself. So we got that going for me.
I think in about a year, I am going to do a chop because by that point, the gray will have grown long enough to where it like will all be gray, like to the end if I like get it to
Yeah,
like here or so.
that's brave.
Because like the front pieces are like gray to about here now. So,
Why? Why are we aging? This is silly.
I mean, I started dyeing my hair when I was 29 after I had
Oh, I
Angela.
started dyeing my hair in college.
Yeah.
I already had gray. My mom had gray hair early too, though.
Yeah.
We just make it work.
We do. What else are
Make
we
it
going to talk
work. I have
about?
such a baby face though that I can get away with it. It's not a gray, it's a blonde, clearly.
There you go.
Yeah. And mine are like
So
silver. They're like white silver gray hairs. They're shiny.
I feel like we should talk a little bit more because we got on such an organization. trick of like the ways, different ways we do organize stuff.
Yeah,
So, like, I just folded my fabrics on a comic book boards, and you got to just fold it in like thirds so that it's a little bit shorter than the comic book board, and they're acid free. So they're not going to mess up your fabric. And then I use alligator clips, uh, like bolt buddies to keep them on there. And
I
then
have some right here.
they just look like little mini bolts on your stash. So you can kind of see what you have and work from
I
there.
actually
So
fold
I
mine a
really
little
like that.
different. I let mine go over the edges.
Do you?
I let mine go over the ends. So they're a
I like
little bit
seeing the
bigger than the
ends,
board. They're a little
but
bit bigger than the board. I should probably, I
I
mean,
don't
not
think
that
mine would.
everybody here hasn't seen my thing's gonna have a conniption because it's like, where are you, Chantal? My it wants to be my documentary filmmaker.
It does.
It
I
cares
think
very much about me being in the scene. No, there we go. See? See how it like focuses in on me?
you're
I
funny.
have to like, here
Just
we
go
go.
stand in front of it.
Yeah. So I have
That's funny.
mine where it goes over the top of the bottom. But
I
I
think
found
you
that
have
works
a
better for the big yardage.
I think you have a
And
little
that's
bit more
kind of
space than I do. Like
hmm
my ones like are brushing up against the bottom of the next shelf. So I would be all weird if I did
I
it
don't
that
know what
way.
mine are. Let's see. Mine are 11 and a half.
But I love it because then you can really see what you have. And
I
so if you're really
clearly love
trying
mine too.
to shop your stash, it's a lot easier to do it because you can see, okay, I have a ton of this stuff, or like Chantel and I were talking about how Um, we all are real good about buying the really pretty bright fabrics, right? But not always so great about buying
The white,
backgrounds.
the blacks
Yeah.
and the tans and
So what I started doing when I no longer had the shop and I couldn't just go get 4 yards of fabric from whatever was there whenever I needed it, is
whoops.
I would order if I saw a good background, like for Allison Glass or Tula Pink, um, that made it, which I love those two designers for backgrounds. I would just go buy 4 yards of it so that I would just have it.
Sorry, I'm getting up close and personal here
No, you're good.
for a second.
So I have like a whole section in here that's just my 4 yard cuts
Ooh, you
of,
have some good ones.
yeah, I do have some good ones just waiting for a project because I know I have a lot of Tula Pink stash and I know I have a lot of
Mhm.
Alice Glass stash. So whenever I get to the point of wanting to use those, I can use something that will function as a background, but still have a little bit, to go with it. And that works really well.
Oh, I was going to show off my containers with the fabrics. So mine are a different container. Mine were from Bed Bath and Beyond, and then Bed Bath and Beyond closed. Luckily, I already had a good 30 or
Good
some of
amount.
these, but I figured out how to fold mine in such a way that I can see them all too. And of course, everything's rainbow-fied. It took me a long time to realize you can't really just make a quilt out of only the rainbow. I mean, I have
You
plenty of
can. You can do a no neutral quilt.
they're hard to find and there doesn't seem to be a good place for your eye to rest. So what's, you know,
It's all about the color progression, I feel like,
hmm
in the rainbow quilt,
yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
for sure. Mine I get from Target, and they're stackable, which is what I love about them. Here, let me put so you guys can see how I fold this.
And Target's
So
had them for a while and they're going to keep having those, I'm pretty
yeah, they
sure.
are
So,
for sure. So it's folded in half right now. This is the selvage edge right here. And when I first get them, this is what I do is I'm folding my selvage to the cut edge, and then I'm going to fold in half again. And I like to make sure that it's tucked in a little bit from the edge. It might be hard to see on the darker fabric. Um, but that way we don't have raw edges poking out. And then I take my hand and I have it about a third of the way and I just fold it over. And then I fold it over one more time so that have it now in thirds. And then I fold it in half. And then I have something that is going to fit really nicely in here, and I can just find my color story. And it sits just low enough. You can see it's underneath where the stack is. So then I can stack things on top of it. So when I have like 9 bins of Tula, which I
which
do,
we do.
I have 9 bins of Tula fat quarters. Like I can have it all in color order and color progression. Um, so that's what I really like to do with mine. And I'm definitely going to need another one of these for Halloween because this is, you can see it's almost full and
Yeah.
I still have a lot to go, but they're like $6. So, if it's obviously going
And
to
they
cost you
stack.
some money if you need
It was an
30,
investment for sure,
you
but
know, but you don't have to do it all at once. How many are you actually going to fold in a week?
well,
You
that
know,
and like maybe Dollar Tree is more your style for what you want. And
yeah.
you're fine with them not being clear. You just want to be able to like rifle through them in a way. You can do that.
I used to buy everything white for my storage containers because I felt like that was really like easy because you can always get more white stuff.
That's
But
true. That's easy.
eventually I switched more to doing all clear because I wanted to be able to see what I had without having to get everything out and rifle through it.
I like being able to see all the fabric. It's like a big,
Yeah, it looks
that's
pretty
half of
too.
it for me. It's
That
just being
it
able to
looks
see my
really
fabric.
fun. But so that's kind of, but I don't know. If I am seeing mess everywhere, my mind sees a to-do list and I have a really hard time relaxing. Like this is supposed to be my office for work too. I can hardly work down here because it's just too much crap
It's
everywhere.
expanded.
And I can't do it. And like I'm set up ergonomically down here. It like it's
Right.
fabulous. But not when I can't work down here. Well, so
I'm
that's no
debating
good.
whether I'm going to iron these before I sew them, and I know I should.
I don't know how this one made it into my stash. It does not look like the others. Oh no, they do. They all came from this one. Okay.
Mm,
This one is so much like a muddier color
there
than
we know.
than
Yeah, those are so
the clear.
happy.
But what I did, see, there was a Halloween collection that had teal in it, Chantel. So I
Oh,
had to get one of
oh,
them
okay.
all.
Well, Halloween's heal.
I know. I love a good like pink Halloween or purple
Me
Halloween,
too.
but I'd never seen teal Halloween, and I can't resist that. It's my favorite
No,
color.
not at all. In the same way I can't resist pink. You can't.
Yes. Lori says that organizing is often very invigorating.
Once you get started,
So
yes.
what's everybody
Starting's
working
hard.
on at home? We know Chantel, you haven't shown what you're working on.
Well, I have half of a quilt top, a little quilt top. It's a baby quilt for a little baby that will be here next week. Stupid 11. There's half of
Nothing
it.
like a good deadline.
Yep. It's a Moda Love Star. It's like a free pattern you could Google and find, but there's half of it, and I'm putting the other half together right now.
That is very pretty.
It is not my typical color story, but I am also not a baby boy.
You are not.
So that we don't, you know, that's part of it. So,
AB says she likes this new format. So I would love to
okay.
hear from you other guys what you think of more of Chantel and I chatting and then asking questions of you guys. And feel free, if you guys have questions, like ask them. Like we're always here to answer or point you in the right direction if we don't know the answer, because that happens too. Oh my gosh. This is so
What?
creepy. I thought it was like little stars. They're
Hmm.
teeny little
Oh my
creepy
God, they're like
crawly.
little
They look like,
ticks.
I know, like that's so gross.
As a dog owner,
I know, that's what it
that's
looks like.
extra disgusting.
I pulled a tick or two out of a dog.
Oh my gosh, Ben once had over 100 and some ticks on him
Oh my
from
gosh.
going out in the woods when we lived in Missouri.
Of course,
And
Missouri. Yes.
yeah, and I sat there with John and Andrew for an hour or more picking off ticks.
Did you like immediately go get him a Lyme disease shot?
No, I didn't know any better back then. It was like 10 years ago.
This is true.
He's fine. He's still very much alive. So,
I went to schedule a jelly roll for a bath and nail trim, and her rabies ran out 5 days ago. I'm like,
blast it.
dang it! And it was a 3-year one too. So now I gotta go do the 1 year rabies because you can't redo it.
Oh
Such a pain.
no.
I know, right? That's annoying.
That's really annoying.
Oh well, it's fine. I'll
I,
live. I'll survive.
I will survive. Trying to decide how I want to do this.
Yeah, I really think that my batiks are gonna go to charity
I
quilts.
just want to figure out how to take them to a charity that'll actually like and
Use them.
appreciate it, you know? Like,
Well,
I'm sure
our
guilds will take them and stuff
yeah.
too.
So my guild has a charity committee, and
I don't have a guild.
so I would always send my stuff there. Like anything from the shop that was smaller than a fat eighth was up for grabs for anybody to grab. And um every once in a while we would have a clear out and like if you guys don't want it, it's gonna go, somewhere go live somewhere else where someone's gonna love it. And so it would always go to charity whenever that happened. I feel like when you organize fabric too, it's a really great way to see like where your holes are. Because I have one light Halloween fabric. One.
Well, you'll get a few. I have quite a few.
I know, but obviously I'm very
Like,
much
yeah,
missing that. Very much missing that one. But I've come down to two.
I'm trying to decide if I'm going to like nesting seams and keeping them to the side instead of pressing. I don't know. I can't I can't decide if I'm a
Anytime
side
there's
presser or an
points,
open presser.
anytime there's points, I like press open just because I really love the results.
I know, but I'm also like, this is going to get vomited on a lot.
It will, but it'll be super flat when you quilt it.
Mm,
So there's that.
I know. I think I just, well, I'd have to get up to the iron and it's all the way over there.
Oh, Stephanie wants to know what guild I'm in. I technically am not in a guild. I identify with the Mississippi Valley Quilters
I
Guild.
identify with.
I was in it for a really long time. I was on their board for a while before I had children. Um, and it's only like Tuesday nights once a month. And I almost went this month. I like saw it pop up on my calendar and I was like, I could go. I could go. Adam's home early. I could do this. And then I was like, no, I want to put on my
No,
moo
I
and
want to put on my
sit in the
moo
house. That's what I want to do tonight. So I just need to get my butt out the door. And like I hadn't like done anything to like I don't know, I felt a mess, like my hair needed to be washed badly. It was like one of those days where you're
Was
like,
that
I
the
don't
day
need
that you had the kids like all basically done up and they had blown out hair and you're like, and I haven't washed mine and like,
that was last Saturday. So the kids started swim lessons and my Angela has like literally never had a swim lesson. And I feel really bad about it
because you
because
were a swimmer.
I was a swimmer. I was a competitive swimmer, and I was a lifeguard, and so I work with them obviously myself, and I've instilled in them that the water's fun, but it's also dangerous. And so I thought, okay, we finally have Saturdays free-ish. I'm gonna put them in swim lessons and be the good mom, and then they'll feel safer next year. And So, but it was like 17 degrees when we were leaving. And so I'm in the locker room, I'm spraying their hair down and putting all the product from the salon, the expensive product in, the
Oh
heat
yeah.
protectant, blow drying their hair with a round brush, giving them a blowout. And I'm just like, I don't know when I washed my hair last.
I have no idea.
Meanwhile, my children have fancy blowouts from the locker room. It's like,
See,
oh
I'm
my
still at the
gosh,
point where a blowout is something that is done in a diaper because we have not mastered potty training or
not
even
yet.
started. No.
You'll get there.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. But for me, a blowout is a very different thing. You're like, they had blowouts, and I'm like, God, are we sick again? And then I realized what we were talking about.
What we were talking about, yes. It was a hair thing, the hair
The hair
process.
blowout.
They had the serum and the oil and
Oh
the heat
man,
protectant and the fancy ion hair dryer. And I mean, my hair looks decent today. My daughter's like,
we
"Why
did
is
our
your hair
hairs
done?"
today.
And I'm like, "Because I had a thing that I had to do today in
I had a
public."
thing. Okay, this is significantly faster doing it this way. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll see
What are you
how
doing?
happy I am later. Oh,
Oh, you're
nesting my
pressing the
seams
side.
and not ironing in
Yeah, you
between.
might. I mean,
I
you're
might
right. It
regret
is going to be
this.
pooped on, but
It's so fast.
it is. But I am just a convert through and through.
I mean, I did all my half squares with open seams and things like that. So they're all very
That's good at
nice
least.
and neat. Coming together. Makes no
So,
sense
what
right now.
are people's quilting goals and crafting goals for this year?
It's a good question. Know what I, yeah, like, are you going to enter shows? Are you the kind of person that enters shows? We were talking about that earlier. Stephanie and I were,
Some people
personally.
do like finish two UFOs for every one new one you start.
What's your method to your madness?
Yes. The one that always infuriated me is people would proudly come into the quilt shop and be like, I'm not going to buy any new fabric this year. And I'm just like, well,
Great.
hopefully you're buying all your other supplies from me because I would like to stay in business for the next year. But I feel like though, like Chantel and I were talking about like using our stash wisely because obviously we all have quite the stash and Chantel and I have a lot of stash.
A lot of stash.
A lot of stash. And but that doesn't mean that there aren't things that you need. Like if you don't have a suitable background, go buy a good background for that and use that. Um, backing is another one.
Or like I
Batting.
collect all the Tula. And so if Tula comes out with a new collection, which she always comes out with like three or so a year, then I'm going to
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah. As I feel like it's like if you do a diet, if you try to do a crash diet, eventually you're gonna binge on a whole bag of Reese's peanut butter cups or something.
Not
And
me. I would die.
well,
Point
you
taken.
would die. I would gain 10 pounds in October when I was pregnant and have the doctor say you were doing so good. What happened? And I
What
said
happened?
I ate a bag of Reese's peanut butter cups. She's like, the whole bag? I'm like, the whole
Yep,
bag,
the whole thing.
the whole thing. Uh,
It was great.
it was fabulous. But then I gained 10 pounds in 1 month and she was not so happy with me. But let's see. Um, one person says they're new to quilting, so they're trying to learn this year.
Lots of good new how-to videos.
Yes.
Steph's
Why I
website.
have an entire learn to quilt lesson where it's free pattern and it teaches you everything from start to finish for the entire quilt, including quilting, like and binding, how to cut stuff, how to read a pattern, things like that. Let's see. Jan wants to know where you buy the Tula collections. Do you pre-order most of your Tula or do you wait until it
I
comes
don't
out?
anymore because it's so everywhere. Um, I usually find it on Etsy and I wait until it's gone down in price with I have a couple different shops that I like to shop through for Etsy. And I also have a little shop that's in Mexico, Missouri that I frequently buy from when I do buy. They're my like find at Allison Glass for like 2.99 place.
Oh yeah, that one.
So if they have any of that stuff, I always snatch it up there. I consider them my local quilt store. Plus, I
It
do have a local quilt store that does have Tula. And so if they have the fat quarter bundle, I will get it there.
it used to be that if you did not pre-order, you did
You
not
did
get
not get
some of the
it.
prints. Yeah, there were you could get some, but you could not get all of the
And
prints.
it's not like that anymore. So
Yeah,
although everybody's cutting back, so it's probably time to start pre-ordering again because
maybe.
I want to be sure.
Lois is a really hilarious one. Finish or quilt from hell. I will win
Me
this year.
too. That's actually one that I should probably put on my list.
Your um
The Christmas
tulip
quilt.
Christmas quilt.
Yeah.
I should finish mine. It just needs to be quilted. And my
I have a
mother,
lot of quilts like
I
that.
gave her a fall quilt that I made that I just don't love the fabric for anymore. It's just not my style, but it's her style.
Hmm.
And she has it on her bed right now, even though it is definitely not Maple Leaf Log Cabin season. And she sent me
Whatever.
this picture and she just loves it. So she's like really, really
Oh,
into
but
it.
when
And
you have somebody that's thrilled about a quilt that you
oh
made,
yeah.
I mean, is there a better feeling?
Well, but that's what I want to put my Christmas one to, because I know she'll love it. And she'll put it on her bed and she'll be very excited about it.
I'm almost
Let's
done with this
see.
one.
We've got Stephanie Brennan wants to make a Christmas and or Halloween quilt this year and a
Make the
puff
Halloween
quilt.
one. Come to the dark side with us.
But ours won't be done for like 10 to 15 years.
70 years.
Let's be honest. She's probably planned out 6 or 7 quilts. Debbie wants to spend more time working on custom quilting techniques on the long arm, so she's getting bored with edge to edge.
Yeah.
That is fun. Chantel, you've done a lot with that this year.
Yeah, I did. And I got pretty good at it, I think.
I think
We
you
don't brag
definitely
about our
got
stuff,
pretty good
but
at she got really good at it. She's being modest. I've
I
been
really
quilting for
enjoy doing it.
years, and you surpassed what I could do in like 1 year. So,
It might be my thing. And the problem is that if you go into doing custom quilting for people, you open yourself up
oh,
to
I don't want to do it for anybody else
well, I know I was thinking
ever.
that, I'm not too shabby at it. Like I could work up to that. I could do
Yeah,
that. And then it was like, I don't know if I want to open myself up for that. That's asking a lot.
that is. I don't know. I just don't ever want to do it.
You know,
It's
like I
not.
just don't.
I don't. Like it takes the fun. I have done it. Maybe this is why, because I have done it and it sucks the joy out of it for me.
Well, yeah.
Because when it becomes a job and it's not necessarily a quilt that you're super into,
Hmm.
and then you're just like, why am I custom quilting this loon quilt? I don't like loons. This is something my grandparents would like. Not at
Right,
all
that's
interested in
true.
this. Like it just becomes it's not as cool anymore.
You have to find
And then
my
if
thing
they
though.
don't like it, if they
That's
don't
what I
like it,
want. I know. That's
like
my
then what? You know,
then what, right? I
you
gotta
can't
find my
exactly rip it
thing.
all out.
I really want to find out, and not just my thing, like, because I haven't been working for several years well, that's not true. I work hard. I am a
You do.
great
You are a
nanny
mama.
and mother, and I take care of all of those things. However, what I mean is, what am
You haven't
I
been
going
outside the
to
house.
do with myself? I've been out of the design world for so long that I'm irrelevant. So now what?
You're not
What do I
irrelevant. You
do?
just don't know the current technology.
I don't think I want to. It's hard stuff
That is a
now.
process. It
Who
does
knows?
change very quickly.
Who knows what
Even
I'll be when I grow up?
I'm learning new marketing stuff. Like, not the techniques. Like, it's still like, the trial and error and measurement, that's all still there. but like the techniques and the capabilities of what technology can do now is so vast. And it's really cool, but I'm just like experimenting right now and it's a lot of fun, but I need like a good
You
after.
known forever that you like marketing and journalism and things like that. I have
Well, I
never
never knew
known what I'm
about
going to
marketing.
be.
I marketing was total accident. I
Well,
got
that's
recruited to
true.
join a place and I did, and I turned out to be quite good at it. And because I knew how to build audience from the journalism days.
Well, and it
And
goes hand in hand.
yeah, it's
They work
basically
well
all the same.
together.
They do for sure. But let's
Anybody
see what
have any
else do
idea
people
what I'm going to
have.
be when I grow up?
Chantel and I had a very teary conversation about this in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
We're gonna be
We went up, we ordered cheesecake, or we ordered cake that night because we thought we
one
needed it.
piece of cake and just ate it
And it was not
together.
enough. It was not enough. So then we went
It was
upstairs and
not
got a bunch of treats and the special sandwiches.
the
We were missing
sandwiches.
our we were missing our kids too. It was like the longest we'd ever been away from them.
It was.
We were a little bit of a hot mess that night.
We were a hot mess.
We were.
Nobody was
It
there
was
to see
not
it
good.
though. We can
Yes, that
talk
was
about
good.
it, but you'll never understand how much of a hot mess we were for
It
that.
was bad. We were both just like, what are we gonna do with ourselves?
We have no idea who we are.
Oh man, it's so good. All right, back to the comments. Let's
Oh,
see.
Brennan has
Brennan doesn't have too many UFOs, but she would like to plan out everything she needs and put it aside. DK says she learned to quilt watching me. Yay! Thank you. And got a kit from it. Let's see. Melissa is new to quilting, but not sewing. She's finished 3 quilts and 4 purses from the videos. Sees more
nice.
bags in her features. Bags are addicting.
Bags are
They're
fun.
so addicting. They are fun, except for when you don't read the instructions because you're sewing on live, like I did a couple weeks ago.
Oops.
That took a little bit. I had to reverse engineer adding uh decor bond after I had sewn that whole thing together. It worked out and it stood up all on its own when it was done, but I would not.
Don't suggest
Apparently,
that.
I cannot cut or do bags on the internet, apparently, because I'm not good at either. So when I have to think and talk and sew at the same time. Debbie also wouldn't do anything for others. She'd be terrified she'd mess it up because I'm totally the same.
Yeah. No, thank you. I don't know. I mean, but
Every once in a while I
it's
will.
so
Like,
fun.
but not for pay. Like I've got one on my long arm right now that's for somebody else, but it's just like it's for funsies. I'm not getting paid for it. Like I just want to quilt the quilt. Um, Melissa did her entire quilt on a domestic machine and didn't start another quilt until she finished the one she was working on. It was very hard, I bet it was. And then switched to a bag when she got bored. That's a good way of doing it, I think. I try to do that like with my knitting projects and the crochet projects. I try to only have one of those going at a time because otherwise it's too much. Like where are you going to put multiple sweaters in progress? And will they even fit by the time you finish them all? It's not like a quilt where, it'll cover you no matter what. But let's see.
Okay, my points
What
are
else we
not
got?
perfect, but considering that I did that other half in like less than half the
That was quite
time,
fast. Quite fast.
yeah,
You did good. I
that
think
was
you're good.
fast. Once it gets quilted, you won't notice some of that because
Well, good.
I
I'm
will
here.
custom quilt this.
I have apparently already got into this for fussy cutting, and it is missing a few bits.
Swiss cheese.
I can get a couple coffins out of that still. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine.
It's fine. Need to figure out how to get it into my stasher though. How to best fold it to be the right size. That is the challenge.
I want one of those ironing boards that's just big and rectangular.
I mean,
Does
I
anybody
want
have one of
room for
those?
that. I was
I don't have any more room for that
have
either,
you
but I
heard
want
the
one.
phrase Zillow baiting, which is very naughty if you think about it? It came from
Hmm.
SNL. It's
No.
very It's where you just like fantasize about where you would live on different Zillow places. I totally did that today. And I found this one place that was like a 4 bedroom house that had this huge rec room. And I was
Hmm.
like, that rec room could be a really fabulous sewing space.
Right?
And then I'm like,
And
but
like
then the
that's
children
where I'd
wouldn't
put the
have
ironing
any,
board.
like, but then the children wouldn't have anywhere to play. And
They don't get to play. It's Zillow baiting.
oh, not that I can move anytime soon. That's not in the cards for this year. That's for damn sure. But
That's fair, but still,
I was imagining someday the kids would
that'll
really like their own room. This is really what it comes down to. And I think my life would be better if they had their own room because I think many of the arguments would not be there if they had their own place to retreat to.
that's that's fair. I I have to admit you're probably right on that one as much as you don't want to be.
They just like, I don't know. It just doesn't stop with them. It's like constant.
They are at it all the
Yeah.
time.
It's pretty frequent.
When
They were
they came over
pretty
and they
well
were being
behaved at
so
your place.
nice and playing together, and then
This was
they
hilarious.
yeah, they're like, we are literally never like this.
Yeah. I think weren't your kids doing something they weren't supposed to do? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and was it Angela or Lily who was like, we're not like this at home?
I think they both kind of agreed on that one.
They did. It's very
Yeah.
accurate. Well, and like Angela likes her privacy when she like gets ready. And so then there's arguments because somebody's locked out of the room and you know, 5.5 year
Yeah,
age gap when you share a room is a lot. It's a lot.
yeah.
So
Well, they have no choice,
they
unfortunately.
don't. They don't. Unless someone wants to sleep in the attic with the mice. It
Ooh, with
is
the
what it is.
mice?
I'm pretty sure there's mice up there.
That'd be fun. Yeah. No, I think you're right. They're gonna share a room.
Yeah, they better.
Okay, I'm done with the top.
Yay! This is really
Yeah,
cute. Are you
it's a
gonna
cute
do it
one.
on your
I'll do
what
it
do you
on the
call
mid
it?
arm.
Mid arm, yeah.
Yeah, I'll draw it all out on there.
That'll be fun.
I think in the white squares, I'm gonna try to. I gotta get my what do you call it out my Hera marker and draw out some things that I want to do. I have this book called Shape by Shape, I think it is, or something like that. But it gives you ideas for certain quilt shapes
Hmm.
that you have in your quilt for like custom quilting it. But it's also great practice. And you know what? A baby quilt is a great place
To
to
practice
practice.
because as we mentioned, it's going to get pooped on.
It's just gonna get, it's gonna have all the fluids on it.
It
So,
will. It's
but
going to
I
be
also
gross.
love this size of quilt for a baby because it's small. Because half of the time, what I needed wasn't a huge bed quilt for a baby. I needed something to like tuck around the baby in the car seat.
Yeah. Well, they can't
So,
have the big bed quilt for like ever anyway.
well, yeah, it needs like a floor quilt or something.
Yeah.
Hmm. You are
Try to be
still going
safe
through
and
all
all
that
that.
Halloween fabric.
I am almost done. I'm getting there. I'm very close to the end.
Well, I finished that one. Now I'm thinking, do I go ahead and baste it, or do I just live in the wonder of excuse me,
I have never had more
of
fun
getting it done.
basting than when I was watching you basting tulip
Oh
quilt.
yeah.
That was so much fun.
That
Oh,
was fun.
Chantel had like was trying out this new basting spray, and so she was like
Oh, I
running
love that
outside,
stuff. It's
and
my go-to now.
we're probably on some like security camera for the Airbnb, and they're probably wondering what the hell are these two women doing, going outside with sheets of fabric. We had a reason.
We did. I mean, they're probably thinking we're doing something inappropriate, and really we're just like in their house quilting.
That was
I
so much
hear
fun.
people upstairs. Hold on, I'm gonna double check and make sure I don't have,
Children.
yeah, a message.
Let in a child.
I gotta make sure I have the right sleep story for the kid,
That is important.
or she's gonna have a conniption. It's already 11. Hopefully she's well into her sleep.
I mean, that would be ideal.
Probably not. Yeah.
Let's
All right.
see.
What did I
Stephanie
promise her?
says she's considering doing alterations from home full time, but that scares her.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's scary, but I think you could totally do it.
It's feast or famine, right? Especially something like that where it's like
That's true.
um word of mouth.
You would make more doing that, I'm sure, than
For sure, yeah. Easily. Let's see. AB says her dad made her a big board and it's a game changer. It's 26 inches by 60 inches for ironing.
mm.
That would be awesome. Like goals right there.
Oh, and Debbie said that she offers edge to edge, but never offers custom. I'm thinking custom free motion, not even custom computerized.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be tough.
although
Because you just don't know if people are going to be like, I hate that, or
the level of perfection they expect from you, even as a free motioner, it's kind of like, well, then you do
yeah,
better.
I know. Like whenever I want it like perfect, I go to Shelly, who does computerized quilting, and she can do custom work on there. She can make it look like it
hmm
is really like well thought out and well put together. But she's laying everything out. She's putting a ton of effort into it. It's not a fast process by any
No,
means, especially when you're trying to get stuff to hit exactly where, you know, the blocks are and things like that.
I really love doing the free motion stuff, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. The idea of putting yourself out there for that, it's like being a
Yeah.
tattoo artist, like you're on somebody's quilt forever
And do they like it?
until they like it. You don't know.
And they're never going to tell you. They're either going to come back or they won't.
That would be scary. All right, you've talked me out of a career. So
Well, I don't know. Like
no, 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 it's probably fine.
Natalia Bonner, like she could do no wrong in my book. I would just send her something and be like, do what the quilt tells you to do in
She is
that situation.
extremely talented. If I became half of a Bonner, I would be very, very, very
We
thankful.
have
What are you have on that? Oh, nice.
I've cut out different
You've
Alice
cheesed it already.
figurines. Yes. But hey, I can still get some good coffins out of this at some point. I
You
think
know what?
this
I
is going
think
to need
I'm
to go
gonna
on
start
boards.
pasting some hexes. I was working on hexes last week. Let's see, where do I want to move everybody so that I can actually
Do what you
do
want to do.
this? Oh, my table's full. What you can't see is that everything's a mess.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see my like 30 drinks behind me and everything, but
my counter, I can't even do anything on it. This is why I need to do something because I just can't do it. Angela Walters is also amazing. She's also
and
very
she's
nice
fun to
in
watch.
person. One time I visited her shop and it was after I'd interviewed her for a podcast that I used to host. And she she had a busy store. Like there was a stuff going on. And she sat and chatted with me for like 30 minutes, like just talking. And
Aw,
I kept being like, I should let you go. You're busy. She's like, no, no, no. I was like, you're so nice and kind and talented. And
you've got it all.
yes, but and then this is my hilarious memory of Angela Walters. So I wanted to get a t-shirt from her and I was like, what size do you think? And she looks at me and she goes, I don't think your girls are going to fit in a medium. I'm like, you need a large. And I'm just like, oh my God. Angela just
There we
commented on
go.
the size of my boobs.
She commented on the size of my boobs. That's personal. Yeah,
It is quite personal.
that's funny.
So I've been going to the gym and walking. And my phone knows this and immediately started sending me workout reels.
Oh
And
no.
I no, it's hilarious. So I keep getting this one from this Irish meathead who is clearly trying to target men because he makes so many inappropriate your mom jokes while he's doing this.
Great.
Ridiculously inappropriate. But he's really funny and he's got like frosted tips
Oh
like in
no.
his hair and is constantly wearing a bandana. But I keep following him because he's talking about like how to build your chest. And as a woman who has breastfed for like 3 years of my life, I'm
Right?
like, and then the possibility of losing weight, hopefully a significant amount. I'm
Right.
like, this is not going to be good for the girls. But I'm
No,
like,
this
I
is not going
think
to be good for the girls.
maybe if I keep following this guy who's clearly like talking about chesticles and not breasticles, but maybe if I follow him and I do some of these exercises, maybe they won't like, fall to my belly button.
They won't
Maybe
hang real
maybe
low
they'll
and
be a
wobble
little
to
bit
and fro.
perkier. I know, right?
Oh Lord.
Oh goodness, the things you have to worry about as a woman.
I
This is
I
not
know.
fair.
It's
Nobody
not.
told me this.
I did not get that memo in Cosmopolitan when I was 20.
I didn't either. I didn't have anything large enough to hang to and fro when I was 20 either,
Mm-mm. No.
but that came
Interesting how
later.
that worked, huh?
Luca Fisher just popped on and said hi. What a moment to pop on.
Right?
Oh,
Welcome.
goodness. Are you wearing pants?
I'm
You
wearing
have a
pants.
real waistband on right now?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? This is the
I slept
PJ
in them
show.
too
Oh,
because you
goodness.
know me. Like to sleep in my clothes. I just
Chantal
passed out.
slept in like really nice sweaters like the entire trip, like fancy, fancy, expensive sweaters.
I
Chantal's just
just I
sleeping in
would
them.
when I was ready to go, I was ready to go.
And then she sleeps like this
I do. It's really bad for the
every night.
bangs. I'm not gonna lie. Like every night I've been since the haircut, I've been like, oh God, what do we do this?
You should try a soap bonnet and see what happens.
I have silk pillowcases now. So they're not
Oh,
silk, they're
well,
satin, but
same thing.
whatever. There's the dog really loves it.
They do work. My mother-in-law got the girls some, and Lily's hair is nowhere near as bad in the morning.
See, I think it's gonna do good things, but I kind of don't like how it makes my pillow feel, I don't know, it makes me kind of slip off my pillow.
Does it?
Ooh.
I know. I'm going to show you. Okay. So this is why I love the beauty of these things. Yeah, so we can see too. Is
You
because
gotta
now
get down here.
I can clearly tell like what I'm missing. Like I am good on the orange and black. I could maybe have a little bit more orange. But what I'm missing are all the fun colors of Halloween. So my purple, my pink,
Hmm.
any type of green, the gray, and definitely there's
The
like no
green, it
white.
was definitely lacking in the last few years of collections, just so you
Yes.
know.
So I know what I'm missing now because I can clearly see what I
Just
have
don't
and what I
accidentally
don't
go,
have.
see, I can clearly see, and then it
Boop!
just goes
Yeah, no.
swoop.
I'm leaning them back. We're doing the dumbbell squats like the Irish man told me to do.
Like to lift your chesticles.
I know. Oh, goodness gracious.
That's what
That was,
you get at after 11
it
here.
is.
Yeah.
But then I also have these fun guys.
Ooh, cute.
So that'll be fun. Now I just need to find space on my wall for them to
Hmm.
go to. But I feel accomplished. Not that you can still see anything on my area, my where these belong, but
I got more done tonight than I
I've done
normally
something.
do.
I've done something.
I
I
got
think
some
this is
Hexies
about the
making.
size of my Halloween stash that I gave to you. And I completely
Probably.
replaced it this year
I also have
because
your
I'm,
purple stash still because,
oh
you
yeah,
let
you
me
do.
borrow your purple stash for my improv moment.
So I should not buy that many extras because you have one of my bins.
I have one of your events.
You do.
of
My
purple.
children want to
And
come back
actually,
to your
I'm at the
house.
point on that quote where I'm ready to use the purple. So I need to do
There
that
you
and
go.
then get it back to you.
It's all good.
Hopefully in time to get my machine in to be fixed.
I'm clearly not like missing it. It's fine.
You're like, I'm not missing.
Oh, apparently, Debbie thinks, or no, DK says I would make a great organizer for others, but I
Oh,
don't
I
like
would
doing it.
too. I'm
Yeah.
just not so good at it for
You're not
myself.
emotionally invested in it. I have been trying to organize the kids' stuff. I have one corner looking very nice. I still have a whole
Hey,
wall to
how many
go.
corners does the room have?
I made two that are full of kid crap.
So that's pretty good.
Really, once I finish, and this is a big job, the American Girl doll stuff, I'll be good.
There we go. The American Girl happened at 11, 12-ish.
Yes. We made it a long
We
time
did.
before we did it.
We haven't made many clothes recently. I've been wanting to make some doll clothes this year. That's definitely on the big list. A
There was
lot
a
of clothes.
time when, so I've gotten my husband because I'm doing like the heavy lifting on the child watching. Um, and I was like losing my mind after being home with them for like 3 weeks straight since a break got extended because we were all sick. And so I've gotten him to agree that every Sunday I get to leave the house, no questions asked, for like 2 hours and do something for myself. And so, like this week, I'm gonna have brunch with some
What?
of my quilty friends. Next week, I'm going bowling with another friend. Um, so like I'm just gonna, I might go see a movie by myself. I just get to go be Stephanie and not mommy
And that's
Stephanie.
Stephanie in your house.
Yes,
Stephanie somewhere else.
Stephanie's somewhere else because if Stephanie's in her house, the children are gonna come and they're gonna ask dad for something, and dad will give the same answer that mom will give, but
No,
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
ask
come
me
ask
too.
mom for something
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
They will
Well,
walk right past dad.
it's hilarious. They'll ask him for permission for something and he'll say yes, but they know that it's not a real yes until mom says yes. So then they ask me the same exactly. It's
It's like the
hilarious.
opposite of other kids, like trying to
Oh,
find the
goodness.
easy parent.
I know. Well, that happens too sometimes, but it's really hilarious. But
Oh my
like they'll
God.
always find me. Like I came down here like an hour early and both children came down at one point while we were down here.
I
And
hear kids upstairs still.
yeah, mine are asleep, I think. I think my whole house is asleep upstairs.
I
But
mean, it is clear that somebody is in the kitchen right now.
But I used to when we had the shop, I would go like on Sunday afternoons and I would make a doll clothes outfit from start to finish.
I remember you doing like
And it was
leaving
great.
and going there and doing
Yeah.
something.
Because it wasn't like I was in my workplace, but like that's where all my sewing stuff was. I didn't have
Well,
an
it was
area
a
in the
not
house.
work project too.
Exactly. And a lot of times, like Courtney and Stephanie B would come join me, and we would just be working on things that weren't work. But we were still hanging out because we really, truly, oh, that's so cute. We really, truly
So
enjoyed
cute.
each other. So that was fun. But
How's your Hexie project going?
I mean, it exists.
It exists.
I
Mine
haven't done
too.
much with it. I need to like get myself back in a go bag situation where I have everything
What does
like in
it
a
take to
bag
do
ready to
that?
go. Um, just a little bit of pre-planning of like what I'm gonna bring with.
We should talk about that next week. Bring that
Yeah,
up. Because I think there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I know how to English paper piece, but I just don't know how to bring it along with me.
yeah.
And it's a different bear for each person, you know.
Or like,
Sorry, I
for
literally had a
example,
bear in my
you did have bear. Like, for example, one of my real fun go bag things to do is our socks because they're, except for
you
turning the
have great
heel,
sock yarn.
I do have great sock yarn. This is a hand-dyed speckle situation. But in order to get this ready, I've got to wind it into two balls that are equal size. That sounds very dirty. Good thing we're past 11 o'clock at
Terrible.
night.
It's purple though.
And I have to weigh them on like a food scale in order to get it to be the right size. It just takes a minute to get it ready. And like starting the
Sometimes it's those
sock,
little steps that keeps you from starting, though.
yeah, well, and like starting the sock, that's something that I like to do, like when I can pay attention because there's increases that need to happen. But once you're like going round and round, like it's pretty easy. There's not anything you really have to do or keep track of until you have to do the heel. And that's something that I like to do like in one sitting while watching a movie because it just takes a little bit more focus. But
I'm a
but
knitting
yeah,
dropout, so
it's okay. Debbie Dobbins says, please do a doll clothes tutorial. That would be fun.
oh yeah, we should.
I I need to clean. I need to clean.
We need to. January is resetting our space month. We
Yes.
both need to get it
I will
back to
film.
square zero so that we can be creative again because it's hard to be creative in a space that's so overwhelming.
It is bad. And I have things like I bought more thread organizers that go on the wall that are good that are long enough for long arm thread, like the
Hmm.
cones and like my serger thread. And so I've got that ready to go. And I have a bunch more clear containers that are short that fit in drawers that I'm going to
Hmm.
repurpose from the kids area. So it's like it's really like I have the things. I don't have to go buy the things and then everything can have a home and I can know where it's at. And I'm not like the other day I was searching for my little micro shears, the ones that like have
Hmm.
the spring opening. I have at least four pairs. I don't know where any of them
Where
are.
are they?
I don't know.
Where are
They're
any of
somewhere.
them?
I also have at least three really cute embroidery scissors. Do I know where any of those are? No clue whatsoever.
No, no,
None.
they got up and walked away with the mice in the attic.
They are.
Little
They went
mice
up
are
two
sewing up
floors.
there for Cinderella.
If only. Maybe they can work on my projects. Maybe that's a way to get more
I
done in
want some sewing
2025.
mice for sure, and I need a
I know
ratatouille in the kitchen and Cinderella, just in general. I'd be nice to her. She can
that
do
the
my
animals in
cleaning.
Snow White that do the cleaning.
Yeah, I need some
We
of
need to
those.
be Disney princesses. Can we become Disney princesses?
I'm pretty sure there's a pattern for that. We can make that work.
Oh goodness, that is funny.
Yeah, I need cooking and cleaning rodents. We just caught a mouse in this room the other day.
I have found dead ones in here, and like I know I can always smell them, and then that's when things get clean because it's like, where is it? We have to find it.
We have to find the dead mouse. So now it's time to clean. It's so sad.
Oh, I know, right? Oh, let's see. Debbie says, you ladies have young children. I just admire the fact that you two can make time to chat and sew during the week. It's much harder when you have small children. I don't
Yeah,
get too much sewing time during the week. I would like
this is our
to.
time.
Like, I could. My kids go to bed pretty reliably at 8 o'clock, and my husband watches at least three Illini games a week. I could be down here. I watched a lot of movies this week. I really enjoyed, like, watching movies that I'd wanted. I found out that you can watch Hulu through Disney Plus because apparently I'm an old fart and you don't know these things. When
Oh, well, I don't pay for the Hulu through Disney Plus.
I don't think I did, but we have a Hulu subscription.
Oh, well, then I guess you
But
can. I
anyway,
know we're
but whatever.
the
I don't know.
technology.
Apparently we're at that age where we don't fully understand the technology
Joan
anymore.
says that she likes this
Oh,
format as
yeah,
well.
I saw that.
So I think that people are digging it. I like
We should
seeing
do it.
everybody's comments and keeping them in.
We kind of we had a chat beforehand and we're like we came up with some topics so that way if we ran out of something to say, we would have a
We
place
love a
to
tangent, though.
we this is how our conversations go. Like we often will call each other and be like, "Do you want to clean?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's clean." And so then we
Yeah,
put on
let's
our little
clean.
headphones and we like clean while we're
Yeah,
talking to each other and we get a lot done.
body doubling. So basically doing it
Yes,
together to make it a little less painful, which I always have some sort of task that I can't get over how disgusting it is to do. And I always do that with you. But
maybe we need to have a night this week where we like
I
plan a
know.
date night with each other, a phone date night, and we work on our sewing rooms.
Yeah,
That sounds, you're
It's
looking around. I
roughed
can
out
see
here.
you. It's so bad.
It's just gotten,
It's out
there's
of
just lots
control.
of piles like that have no
Yeah.
home. Um, and they have no potential homes. That's the hard part. It's not like I just haven't put it back. It's like it just doesn't have a place.
Mine has potential homes, but then there are things that I like I want to buy stuff for. Like I made a bunch of really nice wall hangings for the book, like fancy quilting wall hangings.
Right.
And so I want to get like archival boxes to put them in. And that's a $60 purchase. And I'm just like, do I need to make that today? Probably not. And
Probably not.
so
Yeah.
so then they're taking up a shelf that should have some books on it. And like underneath my long arm is just like a black hole of situation. And I want to get
Yeah.
like,
Forever.
I don't know. I,
That's
I
what a
have a
long arm is for,
$100,
I've decided.
but like I have like $100 IKEA gift card. And I feel like a Calyx, like the two shelf one would fit under there. And then I could have store, it could be organized a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's
And
true.
like,
See,
I
I
just
always think
need
I
to be
have to buy
solution.
something to get started, and I need to stop that personally for me because that's not the problem. The problem is that I don't want to get started. I'd just rather go shopping.
No, there's that. I did buy things to put my patterns in, and I don't know where they are. And I think my mother-in-law repurposed them elsewhere in my house, so I probably need to rebuy those. And she's so she comes from a good
Just
place. But
helpful.
every time she's left alone in my house, she reorganizes something. And sometimes it's really helpful, and sometimes like she reorganizes underneath my bathroom sink while I'm gone for 2 weeks and have all my bathroom products with me, and that's why there's space under the sink. And
Right.
it is
Oh
now
no.
like 7 months later, and I still haven't set it back. So I can't, my makeup doesn't have a place to go. And I'm just like, this is the dumbest thing. This will probably take me an hour to fix.
You know how
And
many
I
projects I
waited
have that would
seven
take
months.
45 minutes? The problem
Yeah,
is the number of 45-minute projects I have.
we all have been there.
We have so
We have all been there. Oh, goodness.
well, I also overestimate or underestimate. Um, we go back to Dana White and her book, and she's like, I have TPAD, it's time passage awareness disorder.
Hmm.
And so I
Yes.
think something's going to take like 5 minutes and it takes an hour. Or I think something's going to take an hour and it actually just takes like 5 minutes to do. And I have no idea how long something takes. So you're supposed to, time yourself or at least try to start so that you can prove to yourself that
Hmm.
yes, this is indeed like a long project or whatever. I'm still, happily blissful in my TPAD and my time passage awareness disorder. And I'm like, nope, it's going to take too long. I don't have that much time. Whoops.
My issue is I need like a brain shutdown time before bed. And so it's really hard to do anything when the kids are up because the time between school ending and going to bed, like I'm running kids here, there, and the other place.
Yeah.
And whatever kid isn't getting run, like Lily wants to play Barbies all the time. And so I'm playing
Yeah.
Barbies. And like I can't like be down here and like organize their crap because she wants me to be there and I want to be present because I know that she's not going to want to play Barbies with me forever.
I know. That's the
And
hardest thing to be
yeah, it's
present with your kids and then have that nagging feeling in the background of like, I have things to do and like
yeah,
trying to choose that. It's impossible.
yeah. But
That's
then
why I'm
like
like,
eight
I just
o'clock
want to get
comes.
rid of half of my stuff so I don't have to think about it, but I
Eight
can't.
o'clock comes and I could come down here. And one day I did come down here and I did a ton of stuff and I worked until like 11:30 or so. And then I could not fall asleep until 2:30 in the morning because my brain didn't have its wind down
Mhm.
time.
That's
And
after this too. I
I'm like,
have
this
to
is
have
not
like
helpful.
time to like decompress.
Yes, I'm up for another 45 minutes when this is done too. But
And the first thing I do when we're done is go to the bathroom. That is a long time
it
for,
is a long time.
yeah.
Melissa
And
says she sets 30 minutes to sort, cut, and organize scraps, but she needs a bin for the fat quarters. You got to use Target ones, I'm telling you.
I agree.
They're in the clear organization section. They're stackable, they're fabulous, and you can get them like all the time. And they fit the fat quarters really well. And then the yardage you can wrap on comic books, board sleeves. And
Hmm. It
and
really
then
works well.
they look fabulous. I mean, look at that. It looks like I got my whole life together.
You do
I
have your whole life together on that side of the room.
On this side of the room, not so much. This side of the room, it looks like I am cooking with gas.
Yeah. The other side, it looks like you have a lantern that just caught on fire.
It looks like I have a hoarding problem on the other side. Oh my goodness.
Whatever. I mean, I have piles over here. Like I have a door that I can't access because there's piles over here. It's,
Same,
it's a double door,
same.
but
Yeah,
uh, whatever.
yeah.
It is
There's
what
a
it is.
door like back in this corner
I have
that
like my
goes to a
Accu
bathroom.
quilt land over here, but I also have, yeah, yeah, go ahead and zoom in on that. Thank you, computer. You know,
No,
it's a
like
mess.
literally, there's a door right back in this corner
Hmm.
that goes to, I mean, it's not a bathroom, it's a toilet in the middle of nowhere in a basement. This is welcome to the Midwest. But
It's
but
true.
but there's a toilet and and so I could just spend my day down here working away and have everything I need and not
It's an
have to be up and
accessible
down all the
working
time.
toilet.
It is an accessible working toilet. It needs to be clean because it was my husband's shitting toilet for a long time.
Everybody's got the pooping toilet.
I mean, it's to the point where even he won't use it. And I'm like, you have to
Oh
clean this.
Lord,
You have
there's a
to clean this.
45-minute task for you.
I mean, pretty much. And it's been this way for like a year.
You
Like
can call me and do it.
my dad went to go use it. And I'm like, I wouldn't do that. Even
Wouldn't do
Adam
it.
won't
Not a
touch
good
it.
idea.
But like I could have a really great setup down here and I can't get to that damn door. But
Whoops.
you know what other thing I really want to do that I wanted to
Hmm.
do for like a year and a half since I moved into the space is make like my display wall behind my long arm.
I think that's a necessary thing.
I
Your behind
literally
your long arm is so sad. It's so
It is so
empty.
sad. It's very white, it's very empty, it's very boring. And when we do like lives and I'm over there messing with stuff, like you can't, it's just so boring.
It looks very bland and
And I
not
literally
you.
have an entire tub full of stuff to hang up there that have collected over the years.
I think having
Like,
shelves for all your machines behind there would be so cool.
see, here's my thing with the machines is like I'm worried they're gonna crash down and destroy my long arm because they're so heavy.
So we want to get that APQS thing up and running before we put those machines up there.
Probably.
Probably.
But yes, someday I like this is my dream someday of a dream house is that I will have a open enough room where I can have like industrial pipe shelving going up the
Oh,
wall
that'd
and
be
all the
fun.
machines are on there. Like that would be so cool.
I think so too. Luckily, I don't have a lot of vintage machines other than the ones I'm learning how to fix in that class. So I have a couple, but that is one thing I can't dabble in. There isn't
Yeah.
time for that. There's not room for that.
I have more than I probably need. There's probably a few I could let go of. There were two that I was going to
You
take
know
to
what would happen
Goodwill,
though? You'd
and then
let
I
go of
found
them and
out,
they'd end up here.
well, true. I found out that there two I was going to let go of because they weren't like super old. And then I found out they were worth like $300 in eBay. And
Whoops.
I was like, well, we're not going to get let go of those now. But
Let's
Debbie
see what
says
we
we're going to make her go shopping tomorrow. DK says we both have great problems that we'll tackle someday and to enjoy the
Yeah,
kids.
we're
And
trying to enjoy the kids.
Suzanne likes
Ah,
the idea for a wall.
yeah. You do need stuff back there for
I
sure.
do. I need something up there.
It'll draw your eye away from the clutter and up to the wall.
I
It's
know,
a
right?
design decision.
Like I'm fine with using under the long arm for storage. Like
Oh, I
that
love
makes
using it
sense.
under the long arm for the storage.
But I want it to look like it makes sense and not like I just threw everything that didn't have a home
Mine
there.
looks like I threw stuff under there because I have like my husband's black and yellow bins. And in this room that's so colorful and put together, having Menard's black and yellow bins under there, along with all the fabric that I'm going to be donating.
I have one of those black and yellow bins in here too that I put my
Yeah,
camera equipment
it's a
in.
mess under there. Oh, and the quilt that I have had intentions of making forever for my college t-shirts for
Yeah.
me and my husband. That all lives under there. I have never cut the t-shirts.
If you at least cut and fuse the t-shirts, it would take up less space and then could go
I
in a
know.
project bin. That's like a
That's a
2 hour
whole bin.
project.
It's a huge bin.
But it's like a 2 hour project, maybe three.
I know. But it's one of those ones that it's like clearly that'll take 37 hours to do. And it will actually take more like 2 hours to do. Yeah. But in my brain, I've made it so much bigger than it is because I've never made a t-shirt quilt.
You know what my problem is with coming down here and organizing things?
Hmm.
Is that the to do in the rest of the house seems so much more important
Yes. You like
than the to do down here
prioritize the main areas because of everybody else instead of prioritizing yourself.
and your own sanity.
Because we don't need our sanity. Everybody
No,
else needs theirs first.
that's
It's
not
sad.
fair.
Yeah.
So I watched Night Bitch this week, and it's really good. Amy Adams is in it, and
Oh, she's great.
it is the most accurate, and I don't know that I would have related to it as much like 2 years ago when I was running a business and had a very emo
Hmm.
co-parent. Like, I don't know that I would have been like so identified with this character. But now that I'm the primary parent and doing
Right.
majority of the things, and the husband is there and supportive, but it's just not the same as like
No.
having, like trading off who's going to pick them up from school because you both can. It's like a
Right.
very different situation. And but it was the most honest portrayal of motherhood, especially motherhood of small children,
Hmm.
where you had this career and this idea of who you were going to be for yourself. And it's not that you regret having children because you don't, you love them
No,
dearly,
not at all. But
but you
it's not
also
what
have
you thought it was going to
lost
be.
well, because who knows really what it's going to be until you're in it. But you have lost a part of yourself too when you do that. You had to put something on the back burner and, the kids come first. And so, when someone's sick, you're the one who has to deal with it.
I have 10
And
years of a resume that's not there
yeah, that too.
because of having children, for example. And it's
Yeah,
not that I would be like, oh, I regret having children for that, but 10 years is a lot of years to be
yeah,
behind.
yeah. Well, and then, but what makes this funny is it's incredibly relatable. My husband and I watched it together, and he was like, "This sounds like everything that you say," and I'm like, "Because it is a very
Yes, it
accurate
is.
portrayal of what it's like." But she also thinks she's turning into a dog throughout the entire movie, which is adds a hilarity to it that I think is what makes it
Like, she
funny.
really
And
thinks she's turning into a dog, or it's
she
like the
really
ongoing
thinks
joke.
she's no, she really thinks she's turning into a dog. Like she's growing hair in weird places. And she's having like weird cravings for meat and her sense of smell is getting like more intense
I'd
and
be
things
pretty
like that.
happy if I turned into one of my dogs.
I mean, there are worse things. I
They
mean,
live
to
well,
to have all your bills paid for you and you just get to lounge on the bed all day.
but eating the brown rocks,
Yeah,
as my
that would not
husband
be as
calls
fun.
them, the brown rocks. That would
This
be
is
a
true.
very negative situation there. Although, if you're one of my dogs, you don't just eat the brown rocks, you get, the food on the
All the
counter
other
too,
things.
because
Yeah.
Cubby steals all the food on the counter. And I would clearly be Cubby.
But I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it for
What was
sure.
it
And
called
then
again?
Night Bitch.
Night Bitch.
Yeah. So she calls herself that. I'm reading the book now. I was at
I
the
call
bookstore.
myself the snack bitch, so I understand completely.
I was at the bookstore working today because every once in a while I like just get out of the house and work in like a public setting. So it's like a bookstore coffee shop together. And I saw it. I was like, wait, that's a book too. And so I was like texting Chantel a picture of it. And she's
Yeah,
like, it's
it
too
was like
close to home.
you sent a part that was way too relatable. I'm like, my kid over here is literally just pooped in
Oh,
her pants because she's 3, and you're sending me this like looking in the eyes, pooping in the
it's
pants,
so
and it's like
funny. It was such an accurate
too close
description.
right now. Too close.
But I really like it. And what is also cool is they never refer to her by like her name. She's just always mother. And so it's like she
Really?
truly has
That's
lost like
cool.
part of herself. and like she is mother, and then she's like trying to find herself again, which I feel like is like very
Yeah,
relatable.
and what does that mean too? If
Yeah,
you're finding yourself, you're not finding the same self.
yeah,
Is yeah, it's a journey.
it is totally a journey,
We could
but
do
I
it on
liked
the
it.
next live. I could do the t-shirt cutting.
You could, yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Apparently, the book ending is very different than the movie ending. I found the movie ending very satisfying.
Oh, does that mean the book ending's not going to be very good?
I don't
How
know.
often do you watch a movie and then read the book, or do you do it the other way around?
I almost always do it the other way around. And it's
Yeah,
a requirement in our house for the children that they have to read the book before they watch the movie.
it's a requirement.
Hmm.
Oh, my kids
That's
would be
how
like, "Well, I
that's
guess
how
I'm not
Angela
watching the movie."
that's how Angela made it through all the Harry Potter books as quickly as she did because she wanted to watch all the movies.
Okay, well that I mean, I feel fair on that one.
Yes.
I feel fair on that one for
Yes.
sure.
You gotta love it though when you have like a book buddy. Like Courtney, who used to edit all of our videos, she
Hmm.
was a librarian, and she introduced me to a book series that it's actually by J.K. Rowling, but under a pen name, Robert
Hmm.
Galbraith. And there has been this will they, won't they for like 7 books with these two characters, and they're private detectives,
Oh, you told me about this, and
they're
it's just a
totally
circle.
they have no idea that they're in love with each other. I'm like, this is the most stupid concept. Like their job is to know crap about other people, and they can't know it about these two who are like working
Yeah,
so closely
you're how
together.
many books in?
I'm like 7. And they're long. It's like a 30-hour audiobook read for
Oh my
every single
gosh.
one of them. Yes, but it's so good. And so I won't say what happens, but it was a very frustrating ending this time. And so she texted me and she goes, "Have you read The Running Grave yet?" And I was like, "I have. Did you finish it?" And she's like, "Today." I'm like, "That ending." And she's like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "I know." It's like horrible. So,
Is
she's
there
like, "But it's
more?
gonna," she's like, "There is." She's writing a new one now. She's like, "But it'll keep us coming back to the next one." I'm like, "It will do that, but if they take 30 hours to get these characters together finally, I'm not gonna be pissed."
Oh man.
But
Oh yeah, she says it's a great series.
but
I don't know.
it is good.
I
It's
like to listen
gory.
to my organizing books and daydream about being an organized. I'm actually a pretty organized person. I'm just messy. Like everything
So,
really does have a place to be.
yeah, I'm the same. Well, my whole family's the same.
It's just not.
So, this is what is a really funny book. I think it's Leanne Mority wrote it. I might have the author wrong. They turned it into a series on, I think, Hulu, but it's not the same for the series. Like the
Hmm.
twist turns out very different. But it's called Seven Perfect Strangers or Nine Perfect Strangers, something like that. And they're all going to this house retreat,
Hmm.
and they all have had something significantly traumatic happen to them before they come that is getting them to get to this place.
Uh-huh.
But I'm like listening to this audiobook as I'm driving to a quilting show, hauling tons of crap. And normally I would eat like garbage the whole way down driving.
That's part of the point.
And I'm reading this and they're having these fruit smoothies and all this stuff. And then like yeah, I'm like, I can do that. I can
You're
pick
like
up the
applying
healthy
it to
things
yourself.
and applying it. And then there's this twist that is so completely ridiculous that it is definitely not a health retreat. And I'm just like, I was like ready to change my life because of
I
this
was
book.
changing my life for this book.
And it was just such a mess. Oh goodness. Oh man.
Oh yeah, everybody's talking about how they read the book before they watch the movie. I
Yes,
just
for
don't
sure.
watch movies that much. I don't have the attention span for it.
It helps me relax at night
It
for
does
sure.
not
That
help
or
me
reading a book.
relax. What do I do before bed? My kids are at the point where they stay up till 9:30. When they go to
That's so
bed,
fun.
it's now fun. When they go to bed, I go to bed. And when I get up, they get up. There is no time.
We got one person says they've been a mom for 30 years and took a 10-year break between their 5 kids. And at this point, he doesn't even know her real name. I'm just mom. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that. I have 5.5 years between my two.
I have a year and a half between one, and then we had over a 5 year break. We made a bonus.
And
We
then
were
you
done,
start
and then we made a
over.
bonus.
Then you start over.
I finally got them in school, and then I had the bonus. So she's great though, but she
Yeah.
got kicked out of daycare. So, you know,
Your plans to relaunch yourself got shelved.
I was going to pick up my name again, and it turns out that was not actually going to happen. I'm just mom
Have you
forever.
started getting her into
No, but I'm gonna get her into
anything?
dance.
Do it.
She
Dance
she she
or
like gets up
gymnastics or
and she
something.
like twirls around and all of this stuff. And anytime she hears music, she starts moving about. So I'm gonna get her into dance or something like that, and I'll leave the
So
house.
as as a veteran mom of girls in dance, you want to get her in a class this month because now is when they're going to start learning their routines for the May show.
But she's so little.
But it's
Do they have
adorable.
a
Even if they do absolutely nothing on the stage, it's so cute. Lily did absolutely nothing on the stage her first year. Nothing. She sat there and that was it. And then her second year, she picked her nose in the middle of the dance and ate it, and everybody laughed. And they're like done, and they're going off stage, and they're holding hands, and she just picks it, looks at it, eats it, and the whole theater starts laughing. And I have it on video to
Of
embarrass her with
course.
someday, but it was so funny.
Oh no.
It's so funny.
I can't believe
But
they would have a recital at that age. I feel like she's so little, but she's not so little, but
she's 3.
she's three. She's a
Lily was
newer
2.
three.
Lily was 2 when she did hers.
Yeah. I feel like she's my baby, and so it's different this time
Oh, I
around,
get it.
right?
I
Like
I
when
understand.
JD was 3 and then Hazel was 1.5, JD was a big boy because he had a baby sister, right?
Hmm.
Like it's different this time around because like you're just the baby
Yeah,
forever. Yeah, I need
I
to
get
get her
it.
in dance and stuff. The problem is me getting out of the house. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go anywhere.
You are
I'm
only gonna have
working
to
on it.
leave for like 30 minutes.
I know I'm working on it.
That's
I
all
like
you're
to
gonna
be
have
at
to do.
home. I like to be in my space.
You can have your go bag.
It's cold outside.
I understand, but you can have your go bag and you can do your little English paper piecing while you sit in the waiting room.
That's
It'll
true.
be fabulous.
That might be worth it.
You know how much knitting I get done while I sit around and wait for kids to do stuff?
That's true. You knitted
Significant
a
amount.
sweater.
Yes. I used to knit. I would when Angela was doing a ton of dance and it was across the river, so it didn't make any sense to like drive back. I would be able to get through a pair of socks for me in 2 weeks with tiny, tiny yarn. Like this is very thin, almost as
Yeah.
thin as it gets yarn.
What kind of needles do you use for something like that?
Very small.
Very, very tiny.
Yeah.
It's like making doilies for your feet.
Yeah. I mean, it goes faster than you think because it's all like one stitch. But I mean, you can do other stitches, but it doesn't make any sense when you have like a yarn like this because you're not going to see it. You're going to see the
Mhm.
design that this makes. If you want to do like a
Do you have a
fun, like,
picture of what that one makes?
no, I do not. But if you want it to like make sense with a pattern, you want to use like a solid or almost solid color.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you do all the work and you can't see it.
Oh, I
But
still don't understand the idea of knitting. I mean, I feel like I could pick up crocheting again. I've done that a few times, but just enough to get something in my hands out of the system. But this motion bothers me. We've talked about that before.
we
It's
did.
like piano playing and all that
So I
bugs my
got
hands.
I went to physical therapy last year because I messed my hand up so bad doing crochet and then hand sewing my sister's
Hmm.
project. They gave me a and this might work for anybody who has hand issues um when they're doing a repetitive motion. A apparatus or it's like a band that's meant for tennis elbow and
Hmm.
normally it's worn like up here and they had me put it right here with like the padded part right
Hmm.
against the inside part of my hand. If I'm wearing that when I crochet, I'm fine. Like I still can't do it like forever. Like it
Wow.
still will bother me eventually, but whatever pressure it puts right here allows me to do the motion without
With
it
the
getting bad.
support, whatever it is that you need.
And before, like it would not just hurt here and through my whole hand. Like I had a big giant knot even all the way up
Oh,
here. Like it really messed up my arm. But
crochet is just a very different motion. I mean, I in my hand sewing, I'm doing this.
yeah,
I'm generally keeping this neutral, but crochet is very much a wrist most motion
I
and
can't remember how many different angles it is, but this is why it can't be replicated by machine because of all the different angles you have to do when you're doing crochet. That's why it can be bad and with repetitive. Even knitting, it's like this and then, it's
yeah, but
not,
you're still generally like drumsticking,
yeah,
you
it's
know.
not that as
But
bad.
crochet is just like a
I could knit all day and be fine all day long.
I can hand sew pretty much all day and be fine. But it
Yeah.
took me time to figure out what my motion was and the direction that I go and all of that.
Mhm.
But it's getting late, girl.
It is.
We've almost
Debbie
made it
is.
to midnight.
We have people heading out because
Hmm.
they have Debbie's
They have
prefers the
lives.
total chaos. She's got
Yes.
7 grandchildren coming over for a sleepover tomorrow. I don't think you're gonna sleep. I don't think sleep is gonna happen. You're gonna have a great time and make some core memories, but sleeping is not gonna be one of them.
When I'm looking down at the comments and yeah, I'm with Becky. I only leave when I have to. I resent having to go into the office after 3 years at home. I don't blame you.
I I go in once a week and that's it. And this week was my first week, like Thursday, in like 3.5 weeks going in because of the kids.
Mm.
And I was very like torn between I want to leave the house and put on something with a waistband and just for the social interaction of it. And I really just want to be sitting at home in bed with the dog.
Yeah.
Like, and enjoying the quiet of my house because it hasn't been quiet in my house for 3 weeks.
Oh, isn't it lovely when you're like home with just your pets?
Yes.
I love that.
Except for when it's the first Tuesday of the month at 10 o'clock. The
I
sirens go off.
agree because that's when your sirens go off on Tuesday at 10
They
o'clock
do.
too.
Tuesday at 10 o'clock, first Tuesday, and then Remy can't handle it. He starts to howl, and
So for
sometimes the
those that
basset
don't
hounds
know,
get in on it.
we get a tornado warning test
Siren.
every month, every Tuesday at 10
First
a.m.
Tuesday at 10. Yep.
Yep.
This is a Midwest thing.
Yeah. Well, it used to be the noon whistle during farming season. You would get it all the time down here, at least where I was from.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's Tuesdays at 10 once a month. And
Yeah.
the dogs,
My dog
oh,
does not like it. He does not like it at all.
and you have howling dogs.
Yes. Well, and Remy will start a howl. Like he'll get going, and then the basset hounds will howl with him, and then it's really funny. It just gets funny because they don't know what they're howling at. They just know that they are.
They're just, yeah, it is starting to howl. It's like Zootopia.
Melissa gets a tsunami siren monthly.
Oh,
My goodness.
see, we all have things.
That sounds awful.
That does sound awful. Oh,
Alrighty.
Suzanne is gonna go. I think it's about time for
I
us
think
to
it
get
is.
going
It's
too.
that time.
We've made it
All
really
right.
far. If you like this format, I think most of you guys did, and we'll
We'll do it
keep
again.
trying it. If you have
We still
topics you
have
want to
some
talk about in the
topics.
future, let
Yeah,
us
let us
know.
know. You can always email Stephanie at quiltaddictsanonymous.com. If you've got questions of things you're stuck on, we can try and help it out. Got some good organizing talk done today.
Oh yeah. I'd like to actually get down here and clean this up and prove that we applied what we have talked about.
We're gonna have a date in the middle of the week where we put on our headphones and clean our sewing
We
room.
need to.
We need to do it.
Yeah.
for sure.
I just got to figure out where I'm putting the things that need to be
I
put
mean,
somewhere.
I have that problem too for some things.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We're both looking around like,
I got so much
uh.
crap and not enough places to put it.
That's
Oh,
so
goodness.
much.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will talk to you later this week, and I will
Talk to
talk
you
to all
later.
of you next week.
We will see you next week.
All
All
right.
right. Bye. Happy
Bye.
quilting.
Happy quilting.